Hello, I'm Eagle. Eagle Gardens, Eagle Gardens 1 on Instagram. This is fucking talking shit with Eagle, episode 30. And tonight we have Father Mike with us. And what a pleasure it is to have him. He's been around the cannabis community now for years, spreading his great vibes and knowledge. And he's been a little bit absent in the cannabis community for a few minutes, and it sure is nice to have. I almost it's a pleasure to have be the first stop he makes in re-popping back up. So I would like to welcome you all, Father Mike, to the show. Father Mike, how you doing tonight? And go ahead and introduce yourself and tell everybody where they can find you.
I'm on IG and I'm on Facebook. Sorry to say the website's down, but I do have a web address and an email, fathermike@gmail.com. No, I'm really just a grower pretty much. I see the name popping up here. Cheers. Uh, uh, I'm an old man that's grown cannabis since I was 13 years old. And, it's kind of a funny story how I fell into it. If you can imagine, I'm going to be 65 this year. So you do the math. And it was right at the tail end of the Vietnam War. The GIs would stop off in Japan on the way home from Vietnam. And a friend of my brother's stuffed a speaker full of a blonde Lebanese hash. And I was 13 years old. And we were over at his house listening. And all of a sudden, he pulls out this slab of hash and got us all high as shit. And I tell you what, I haven't really stopped smoking other than when I did for a short period raising our children. Uh, they're adults now, of course, but always been in my life. I started growing when I was 16. So 3 years after I started smoking, right after high school, my brother, just before he graduated, him and a good friend took off for California. And he was just like 18 years old then. So they left there, went to Washington, where we were originally from, and ran across a strain called Northern Lights out of Alaska. And they were up in the Seattle area, and he got beans of it, brought it back to Ohio, and grew some, but we didn't know shit about growing, if you can imagine back then in the 70s, early 70s. We didn't know anything about light deprivation or the types of lights to use back then. And if you grew anything outside, if you didn't know how about hardening off and things, you were shot down there. So we would usually
Father Mike, are you froze up on my end or is it on your end? And everybody, can you hear Father Mike, or is it froze up on my end? Skillbo 17, how you doing? Cana, Johnny Cana Seeds, how you doing? Southwest Okie, how you doing? Yeah, he'll be back. It happens. Cana Trooper, how you doing? Smoking Grove Fraser, how you doing as well? Hating Life, how you doing? Green Nugs 420, how you doing tonight? Diamond Press Company, how you doing? What is up, Cannon Trooper? Well, I'm smoking a little bit of blonde hash. and waiting for my guest to return. I'm sure he'll be back in just 1 second. How you doing, Resurrection Prophet? Kinko's Genetics. My guest's internet must have froze up for a second. I'm sure he'll be right back. What are you guys smoking on while we're waiting for Father Mike to rejoin us? And this happens. Gotta love the Zoom. Gotta love the Zoom. Oh, tell everybody, Pop. Father Mike, come back. Come back, Father Mike. Hello, Elmo Grower. How you doing? I'm much better spirits today. Red Set of Farms. How you guys doing? Critical Glue and a little GG4 sounds great. How you doing, Spartan? Spot and Grown 420, Dr. Dangstein. Jump back in, Father. Rejoin the meeting. Rejoin the meeting, Father. Oh, I love it. I thank everybody for tuning in. We got 17 cool people hanging out at the moment. Let me get the father back in here. Uh-huh. There you go, Father. I sent it again. Humble Grower 420. Red Center Farm. Cheers. Half. I see a good majority, Spartan. I see Red Center Farm. I see myself. I see a good majority of the Michigan Bros Grow Shows folks here, Mr. Skibbo. I hope everybody's doing well tonight. Mr. Father Mike should be jumping back in soon. Please smash that like button. Here's Abolish Farms. We got majority rules now on the MBS group. I always forget the G for some reason. Totally is lucky number. Cheers, nutrient shootouts. You must slip by. I didn't even see you pass in there. I don't have a 420 in my name. Did I say 420? I did. I'm sorry, Spartan. Yeehaw. Should have some backup music and shit playing for all this. Some Benny Hill. Some Benny Hill music. Some clown shit. What's up, Abolish Farms? Frugal Force. Hope your show was kick ass tonight. Oh, that's tomorrow. My bad. Go ahead. I didn't miss it. I sent him an invite, but we'll try again just in case. I know it. Where is that sequence 3? Sus Burton, hello. How you doing? Weed Nerds for Life. We're just waiting for our guest to rejoin us a little. Had a little bit of internet problems. His computer was rebooting. I believe he's on his way back. I just sent it again, Father. I'll send you the numbers in Instagram too, just in case. Sorry, y'all, about this. It's one of the beauties of being live, I guess. The beauty of being alive. Gas is super cheap right now. Let me get this meeting number for you. I sent you the link again, Father. But I will send you these numbers on Instagram too. Sorry, everybody. Dead air, nothing like dead air. Bet you guys love tuning in to just hear me, just nothing. All right. I sent you the numbers in chat, good sir, and I will make sure and send this invitation one more time. Talking on Rainbow Driver. That sounds pretty good. Probably trying to get in. No, I'm watching, Spot. No, I'm watching. It's all good. I appreciate you guys. Technical difficulties. What up, Matawari? Tell us about your tents. The tents are all tore apart and ready to be harvested. I am days behind of getting things cleaned up and ready to go, Mr. Skillbo. There's no way I'm touring tents today. But that one's cleaned and ready and reloaded, full of beautiful loser and insane membrane. What is the mix of Rainbow Driver? That's a good question. Can you tell us that, Red? Oh, Spartan. That was close to yesterday. Nobody wants to see that. That's why. That's exactly why I did a short show yesterday, Spartan. That's funny. That's exactly why I did a short show last night. I'm like a bird man rubbing hands together over here on that beautiful loser. I'm loving that beautiful loser. I just took down a bunch of it and I'm gonna monocrop a tent of the beautiful loser. I can't wait. What's up, Lexi? Lexi? How you doing? Mr. D's Notes, how you doing? Ah, damn it. Sending the wrong fucking number. God damn it. Yeehaw! Yeehaw! Gotta love a good fuck up. Smiley's Gardens, are you in chat? I didn't see you, brother. How you doing? Mr. D's Nuts. Major 420. Major General 420 Army. I am sorry. Drive safe. Don't look at your phone. You better not be driving, Smiley. What's the one over your shoulder? This one there? That should be Beautiful Loser is in the big jar there. It's buttercream haze. There's We're trying. We're trying. Oh, I love this. I really should read. I don't know how better I could rehearse this. Drop shot 1. How you doing? Nutrient shootouts. Crushing these nuts. That's fucking hilarious. That is hilarious. Father Mike, I appreciate you. I hope you're not getting frustrated on your end, because I do appreciate this. Zoom can be a little bit frustrating, for sure. Oh, he's back. We got it. We got it. Thank you guys for being patient. Big dogs in the house. That's right. All the big dogs are in the house. I can hear you. I can hear you, Father Mike. I think you just got to turn on your camera.
Did I lose it already?
Yeah, you're on. You just can't see you.
Oh, okay. Let me see here.
You can yak with us while you're messing
Oh,
around
okay.
if you'd
I'm
like.
sorry. I
Oh,
don't
no,
know.
you okay?
It's not showing me any my video settings or anything. Like I said, I'm kind of new to this whole format, so
Oh, no
it
worries,
asked me
Father.
if me
There
or
should
my.
be like a little camera at the bottom. Is it showing you that?
Hang on. Oh, I was looking on. Yeah, I see that it says stop video. It doesn't tell me anything about it. Yeah.
Maybe click up on that. Maybe it'll give you an option for choosing camera.
No, I did that, and that's where I was looking at when you. Yeah, there's a video setting there, and it says mirror my video. A camera, integrated camera. It shows that original ratio. Yeah, no, when I first got on, it asked me if it wanted to use my video, and I said, yes, go ahead. I don't know, maybe I need to. It's crazy, man. I'm telling you here. This is.
Well, right now it just says your name on the screen.
Okay.
Well, I just should have asked you to start video.
Let's try this. Yeah. Yeah, I still see you at the top. Got nothing, my friend. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right. Well, if you're cool with it, you can still talk, and while you're trying to figure it out.
Oh yeah, no, I'm good with that.
I mean, we're still happy to hear you. We'll eventually, hopefully, get to seeing you.
Well, that's all good. Here, let me try. I see what I see now. Yeah, no, it says you cannot start your video because the host has stopped it. Huh. That's crazy.
Let me see if I can on my end. There you go. I asked to start it.
Okay. I was going to try this other setting here.
You can always, if you'd like, you could log out and use those numbers and come right back. If you'd like,
Yeah, I
try
was
one more
thinking,
time.
trying that too. I mean, if it looks like it's going to go that way, my friend. Because
Oh, no
I know
worries, no worries. We're just building a crowd. We're up to 33 now, and everybody's talking. And
Oh, okay.
Go ahead and drop out and try it again. We're good. Thank you, sir. We're working on it, guys. Tara Wilson, thank you. Welcome. How you doing tonight? Open the webcam cover. Yeah, that might be. I appreciate you all for hanging in and enjoying this great Friday night that I'm having. I hope you guys are having a great Friday and have had a great Friday today. I know I've had a great day. I know tomorrow will be even better. I get to see my oldest daughter, Brittany, for a change. So that'll be cool. Right. Good. That's cool. Hopefully it'll be just in time for Father to get his camera up and running. I know typical Eagle joint. I don't know. I'm gonna have this bad boy about gone by the time I get to enjoy some Father stories. I do appreciate everybody for joining in. We're gonna get Father Mike in here. Well, I see you're back, Father Mike, but I still don't have any video yet. I can hear you. There's nothing over the camera, is there?
No, when the camera's covered, there's a red dot. You know, I checked that was the first thing I checked. Please enter your meeting password and join the meeting. Sure. Let me try that again. Maybe that'll give me my video back. I'm really sorry, man. I don't know.
Father Mike, don't even worry about this at all.
Well, I hate to
No, worst comes to worst. Like I said, we can just lose the video and just have the chats.
5-hour shows. So.
Some of them have been. Last night was only 17 minutes. So it gets, we win some, we lose some over here. It's all good. The key, Father Mike, is we keep trying. That's
yeah, I'm stubborn as hell. No, I was looking forward to seeing the Mendo Doughboys. They were going to be on the other night with Jinx, and never happened. So, you know, stuff happens these days. And like I've said, I'm curious to know if I've possibly pissed off the YouTube gods again, because they don't like me at all. As you see that this is a backup account. Since they kicked us off of YouTube a while back, it's just not been the same for me. That's why I kind of got off of that.
Oh, don't worry, Father Mike. I think after my 24-hour marathon there, that's still uploading. I don't think I made any friends over there either.
Yeah. Now it's telling me again that now the meeting password is wrong. So, gosh, I don't know what the hell this is. That's really sad.
It should be the same.
Stop video, rename, mute by audio. What else it say?
You know, even if you want to, you know, jump off and restart that computer, it might help that. We're good.
Yeah, I don't know why it would have done that. That's
or we can just do the audio. It's either your choice.
Yeah.
We're good either way, brother.
I don't know, man.
We're just happy to hear from you.
Well, that's nice of you. I'm just playing here to try to get Zoom to asking me if I would like to give feedback. I'd love to give feedback. Tell you what I think of this. No, let's see.
My suggestion is, Father Mike, I would just restart the computer and use
Okay.
those same Zoom numbers
All right.
to get back in.
Let me see here.
And
Da,
I'll
da, da,
just talk to
da.
chat and then work on rolling up another one. It's all good.
There you go. Well, I'll try it.
And if not, we'll just go with the audio.
See.
We'll just roll with it. Your stories will be just as well. Oh, they're more entertaining when we can see that great beard and sunglasses. But I'm sure everybody would be happy, nonetheless, with the audio stories. Oh, well, that made me feel a little bit better to hear that Ed, no, because I don't wish anybody bad will, but Zoom is a beast, man. Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad, but it has been good to me. I have to give it that. It has been good to me the last 30 shows. I appreciate you guys hanging in there. Well, 42 of us. We're building. We're building. I hope everybody's doing well tonight. Well, everybody say hi. Let's see who's in chat. I think I've hit them most, but man, chat's popping tonight too. I'm not even on live chat. I need to click this over to live chat. On my phone, it's live. Southwest Okie. I have a request for my flower room next Friday. I think I need to dump the flower. Worst comes to worst, I just put up a tent in my drawing room or in my flower room. Hoss Farms, how you doing tonight? Welcome to fucking talking shit with Eagle in my joint. uh It wasn't no almost Spartan. We went over, me, Boom, and Smileys. We definitely went over. It was YouTube or Zoom, whoever killed it that night, took that minutes off it. We were definitely live until that moment. It's definitely them trying to take away the 24-hour mark. We were there. How you doing, Robert? Hope you are well tonight. From Ontario. We're just minutes from. Oh, he's back. He's back. Ah, well, I've got people that were there. We were live until you were on another show. We were absolutely live. Nice to see you. New York. That's pretty awesome. Man, Black. Yeah, I'll take him any way I can get him. My daughter says it's not her fault. It's not the Wi-Fi. It is what it is, what it is, what it is. Minnesota. How's the weather in Minnesota? Blind Cat 420. Welcome back. How you doing tonight? Tara Wilson. How you doing tonight? Mr. Boom. Well, anyways, yeah, I'm smoking on some of this Pine Valleys here. Let's see, bust out another or two or three. All right, here's some Pine Valleys. Let's see if we get a decent shot of that. Probably not. It's always light sensitive. Oh, he's back. I got faith. I got faith in this round. This one is the one. The one. Nice. Glad to hear it, Robert Hazelton. Stephen Effort. And Pine Valleys is good. Smoking on some purple Urkel, eating some breakfast. Nice. Father Mike, can you hear me?
I still don't have any video. I don't hear something's popping up.
Well, like I said, no worries. You know, just sit back and relax and let's just talk.
Yes, not give me any camera options.
Sergeant Pepper 420, how you doing tonight? Ooh, I love chainsaws. What kind did you get? I like Husky's one of my favorites. My daughter's trying to blame herself for the internet.
Well,
She says, I'm not on the Wi-Fi, Dad.
I'm gonna try one more time, and then we'll just do an audio thing.
That'd be fine. I'm sure we'll all be good with that. You guys be just fine with a Father Mike audio, wouldn't you? Ooh, steel's a good one. Classic, tried and true. Tried and true. I've climbed many a trees with the steel. Hit it. I need to hit it. Man, heavy-handed on that hash in that joint. Yeah. Yeah, I think after the show tonight, I'm going to end up having to trim up some girls that, well, I got one right here. Guess I could show you. Swing around. Here, I'll just bring her over here. Be careful with that girl. She's about ready to just collapse. Spin the camera over a little bit here. Right there, bam. It's some dominatrix from Empire Breeding Company is what needs to be tackled tonight. If you can believe it, there is two of these girls that need to be taken down. As you can see, they're like beautiful fall colors here. I let them purple right out. All the buds were nice and purple. She just stinks of that piney lemon, beautiful smell. Like I said, I got another one tucked around the corner. This would be the second one I've trimmed out today. I already trimmed one down. It was actually, you know, I guess this is 2 or 3, and I've already taken down that big old Primal Punch F2, that one with the big old buds that I've been showing off on the Instagram. But yeah, I can't wait to trim these girls up. I just stink. Big old fat nugs, you know, pretty there. Pretty girls. Oh God, she smells so piney, so piney. This right now is one of my as far as the pine terps go. This is what I'm looking for. But I'm looking into that freeze land. Oh, Father Mike's sitting here waiting on me while I'm babbling. Just babbling, talking about myself while my guest's trying to get in. Oh, hell yeah. It is a beautiful night, and you couldn't look any better, my friend. Let me shove this this plant out of the way and let you be the star again. Well, I had to prop this girl up here. Sorry about that. Just buying a little bit of time with the pretty plant there. What I think is a pretty plant. Kinko's Genetics, how you doing tonight? The American one.
So how are you?
We're all good.
Oh shit. Yeah, no way.
We're up to 46 now. Just loving the wait for you. It's all, see, the internet gods are with us. We're good.
I had to figure it out. You know, I'm just a stubborn old man, and I wasn't going to give up. I put you off a couple times, and I'm sorry about that. You know, I didn't put you off. It's just that I knew there would be issues. I really did. So.
Well, I'm used to issues, so I appreciate your time.
Well, it's
and we all
Friday.
All right, where the heck did I think we left off? I know you were growing at 16. I think that's where we left off.
Yeah, we were popping the Northern Lights. My brother had gotten. Yeah, they bailed out of high school. It was kind of funny. Him and this guy named Rick McElwain. They took mom and dad's T-Bird, and they headed like they were going to Florida, so they would fool everybody. So when they ran out of the second tank of gas, they hopped on the highway and headed west. So they were looking for these kids in Florida. They were kids, really, just 17 and 18 years old. And they went to Cali, went to Tacoma, up in the Seattle area, and ran across the Northern Lights beams. And it's kind of weird because I remember as a kid, we never did get buds, seemed like we always was smoking leaves. Even when you bought cannabis from people, there was green leaves a lot of times. So
well, come on, Father. When you start off with that beautiful blonde hash, you're kind of setting the bar pretty high there. Come on.
Well, that was from another country. So we weren't there yet. I didn't find out about hash like that until I made our trip to Jamaica and actually got to participate in making hand hash, which is kind of cool as shit. But anyways, we found we could stick it in cornfields, and that way you could control the sunlight. And we learned about scrogging and things like that up against garages and stuff to try to hide the plants. Even hung Christmas ornaments on them a couple times to make them look like tomato plants. We were afraid that the police were going to fly over in their airplanes, but
that's
yeah,
pretty
I tell
funny.
you,
I can just picture a plant with red Christmas balls on it to look like tomatoes and shit. That's pretty funny.
Well, if you think this is back east in Ohio, so in the summertime, everybody had gardens. We all had corn. One of the major crops was soybeans, and the other was field corn for the cattle. They grew a lot of that, and then you had your sweet corn in your backyard, but there was always a way overabundance of tomato plants. You know, so yeah, you'd hide them with that, and lot of fun, we were all high in high school. I graduated with 63 people. So when you take your bulk of your senior class, they're all smoking cannabis. It's a lot of fun. But then after graduation, got married and was doing the Mexican brickweed by then. That was quite popular. We still didn't know how to grow it right, but had an abundance of seed. That was damn sure. Uh, but then we got onto some of these people that knew what the hell they were doing. Ed Rosenthal actually was the first guy that taught me how to build soil back in. Remember the free net?
I do.
You could go to the public library and you could get on their PC. Unless you were like us, we had a 96 baud modem, and I built our first PC in 1986. So we've been doing this for a little while. But yeah, the free net had links to colleges, and lo and behold, out of Indiana, there was this guy that had written a basically a recipe how to build soil. And I built my first super soil back in the late '80s. So that was kind of cool. Grew the best weed. Everybody in town loved it. They beat a door to my path to get it. We actually called it Okeechobee after the city we lived nearby, Oberlin, Ohio. And man, it was, I tell you, I'd love to have a cut of it today because I know how to grow the shit now.
That's funny.
Yeah. So how you doing tonight? And I thank everybody in chat for being. I see the orange name pop up. Let's see here. Red Setter Farms. Cool, cool. Robert. Hey, you guys get over and sub up to me on IG. I like to Ed Rosenthal, Mel Frank. Yeah, George. Yeah, yep, yeah. All of them folks were on there. Pretty cool. Yeah, we didn't have the ability to upload any type of photographs or anything back in those days. It was all just text, back in the freenet days. But still sharing knowledge about cannabis even back then, isn't that? That's kind of cool. Yeah. You got a beautiful
What did?
garden.
Thank you, sir.
Wow.
What did you do as like before, as like a career, or what before you got into gardening? If I remember right, you were a carpenter, correct?
Well, I kind of dove into they called it back in my day mechanical drawing. You actually used drawing tools and shit and rulers and had to measure stuff. But I got into CAD kind of early, and like I said, I did Photoshop and stuff like that. But yeah, I was actually out of high school. I went into a college to study electronics. And as I looked around, and again, this is back in the day when Vietnam was winding down and they were mopping up over there. And lo and behold, I get this pass to go to college, man, full boat, paying me room and board and shit. And I'm surrounded by all these military people, all fresh out of the military. And they're teaching us about guidance systems and wanting us to build these boards and play around with stuff that I didn't think was going to be used for probably anything worth a while. So I bailed. My dad was an electrician, so I got an electrical license, commercial, industrial, residential, wiring homes and businesses. Um, Built homes, man. I built a lot of houses from Florida, Ohio. I was working out here in Arizona, and I was up in an attic and popped my back for the last time. So I had to go on disability. But, you know, if you followed me back in the day with Brown Guy and the daily grind, went up to Oregon there and drew the blueprints for the farm with him and helped them get going there. Uh, Kind of is, what I did up there until we came back here. A long story there, but I won't go into any of that. But through all that, I got to meet some very, very cool people. I built Brown Guy's website for probably 4 years before he went up to Oregon. He lived here. We were electricians together. That's how I met him. Pretty cool.
That's
But yeah,
pretty awesome to know. A little backstory there.
well, I mean, there's things people don't know. So I'm trying to, I never really talked about this part of my life. And I joked with you early on about growing with Miracle Grow. Uh, we did that as kids, honest to God. We didn't know anything about, well, we knew about organic gardening and stuff, but we never thought about, you know, uh, I didn't think about throwing a fish in the hole until I got uh, probably the third or fourth year. Somebody says, what you do, you go catch all them bluegills all the time in them ponds, take a couple of them, cut the heads off, throw them in the hole first, and there's your nitrogen source. And sure enough, man, that'll plant hit some dead fish and rock and roll. Uh, but yeah, in Florida, they take snakes. I knew a guy down there, we called him Peanut. They would catch rattlesnakes, cut the heads off, throw them in the hole, and grow their cannabis with a rattlesnake. I know that sounds
Pretty
kind of
cool.
wild, but there you go.
It's all fertilizer in the end, I guess, right? What's the difference
Well,
between that and a fish, really?
I tell you what, there's so many good soil outfits out there. Kennyos can vouch for, Patrick Soil King. He's got a mix there that you can't go wrong with baby roots and big roots. I tell you, I'm anxious to go over and get a truckload of it here real soon. Gonna have to do something. Um, I wanted to go see Patrick for a while anyway, but life's so fucking busy. I don't know how you can do this day in and day out. I mean, um, I wish I could. I'm in
It's not
quarantine. Oh yeah, that's right. Shit, quarantine.
makes makes it a little easier.
I tell you, quarantine my ass. I ain't changed anything in my life at all. No, and I got the can of cough too.
Probably
Watch. I got the can of cough, so
I know it. I actually love to leave the house just to cover if I cough in public. That I just make sure I smell like cannabis. Just there it
Ruby.
is. You know why?
Ruby's feeding me in the other room. She was telling me a story last night about how she was over at the health food store and they got the 6 foot shit going on, but she was like wanting to get out of there. So she was reaching over and putting her stuff on the belt already. And they were going to ring it up, as she was finishing up. And she said, man, she got the urge to cough. And she thought, oh my God, all these people in the health food store, they're all wearing masks and gloves. And here she is. And she's fighting off this cough so bad. Because you cough in public now and people look at you like, you're going to set them on fire or something. I don't know. I just tell them, hey, listen, I smoke way too much fucking cannabis to worry about this shit right now in my life. So y'all have a good
Miss
day.
Ruby Doobie can is more welcome to slide in if she's welcome.
Yeah, I offered that to her. She has, I don't know if you know what her profession is, do you?
Accountant, if I remember right.
Well, if you can imagine now, with all the extensions on taxes, all the business taxes that she does, corporations, small businesses. She actually lost a couple restaurant clients. They've decided to just say, we're not going to play this game. Fuck it. We're going to lock our doors and retire. They were at that time in their lives that they could. So that's kind of, hurt a little, but they're good people, and she gets to finish up their taxes this year. They're good friends of ours, so over these years and all. But so she's really, really, she's been busy, 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 busy. She's doing personal stuff on top of all of that. We actually have to go to Phoenix in the next few days. We have a close friend, the Nug Assassin, which he lives down there. We're going down to drop his stuff off and his dad's stuff off. So that's always fun. But yeah, she's just a busy lady. So this afternoon, we went on a drive, went to the lake twice, got some lunch and all, and she's just kind of unwinding. So I'm not going to put any pressure on her, but I told her if she wanted to make a little cameo wave, she was welcome to.
Well, Haas Farms has a special request. This is all up to you. We
Oh,
have
sure.
several questions for you
Tell the
here.
story of finding cannabis bale on the beach in Florida.
One wants
Oh
to
my
know how long
God.
your beard is. We have
Oh, really?
you prefer organic growing, which I'm sure that's probably
Oh,
a
I
check.
don't. I tell you what, I can't stand bottle chemicals. They leave rings on the floor, and you know, I got a question for Chad. You guys wanna ask? Here's one for Chad. How many people use a molasses, an organic type of molasses for a hardener in their bud at the end? How late do you put in? I mean, do you throw it in the last few weeks? I know a lot of people flush, and
I
I'm a
use it all
God
the way
freak.
through.
Yeah,
I use it
I'm
all
a
the way through, and then the last week, it's just molasses and water, and then just our water for the last few
yeah.
days.
I go in probably the last 21 days with the molasses. But I tell you what, the soil I built, I've got a recipe by far. Uh, I've gotten on now. Subby, just before he passed away, he was cleaning up. Like I said, he was getting ready to bug out. He gave us a bag of some rock mineral out of Colorado. I think I'd have to look where it was from. Oh, shit. Build a Soil. I'm pretty sure it was from Jeremy up at Build a Soil. And it's some rock mineral shit. And I tell you what, I put that as a top dressing. Uh, I use microbes too, by the way. Soil Balance Pro. I tell you what, man. I found a real easy way to introduce that into my plants too, without a lot of hassle. But again, this rock mineral just really seemed. I squeeze the buds, man, and they are rock solid. Just they're harder than baseballs, man. Uh, Kenyo's got a winner. I would love to take that one outside. I think that would grow a monster tree. That Kenyo's, it's a berry light. And so if you've got any of that, I swear I seen him pop in, or there he is up here last several weeks. Okay. I see raw sugar. Yeah. I use raw sugar at home for everything, and I thought about using that, but uh, they actually extract a lot of the molasses from the raw sugar anyway. It's just a really and do you prefer a blackstrap molasses over refined or
I like the black strap. I've had very good results with the black strap. We have a few other. One says molasses and milk bacteria. One says going with maple syrup soon.
maple syrup? See that adds a little sweet in the bud. That actually what people don't understand, there's a limited amount of things that a plant will actually take up. I mean, you can dump stuff on a plant, and if it doesn't want it, it just won't take it up. So uh, I was one of, I used to flush. And then I met a guy that got me into ebb and flow because he was a Rockwool grower and he wanted me to set up a table to do cuttings for him. So as I studied it, because I wanted to know, I realized that, this whole flushing idea or concept was kind of silly to me because, well, unless you're going to flood the whole fucking earth like God did. Flushing's really kind of a, eh, if you're not using any harsh chemicals, when the plant's ready to finish, uh, she's going to quit taking up nutrients and she's just going to drink water. She can tell the difference. Uh, Oxygen, that's a lot of people don't understand that part of the watering too. It's why they take up the water. They really want the oxygen. They take it up by the roots. So I do what's called a bottom water. Are you familiar with that?
I
Anybody?
absolutely am.
Yeah. I feed up top and I water at the bottom. I use an oversized pan and I'll usually dump between 1.5 to 2 gallons a week in the bottom. And I usually dump about a gallon every other day in the top with food. And I don't pH, but I use a product. It's fish. And I've checked it and tested it and checked it and checked it. And even after, I was scared with Fukushima because these are Alaskan fish that they use. And but they guarantee me, man, they're checking it all the time. So it actually drops the pH. I use a deep well water that is um OR, so it's taking everything back out. And then, like I say, I got on this rock mineral stuff that really helped out there. Because I was scared at first, man. I'd never grown out here with this water. That one is it's key. Good water is fucking key. I don't care. You can poison a plant quicker with the wrong water than you can with just about anything. If you don't believe me, use tap water for a while with the chlorines and shit in it. Oh my
Oh
god.
man, I've seen a lot of growers chase their tails on wells, trying to figure out shit what was going wrong before they actually figured out it was the well.
We have some of the most kindest water. It's really high in calcium. So I do end up with a little bit of a magnesium problem, but it's easy solved. So you can add that in. Down to earth products. I don't know if you guys watched any of my videos or any of my stills or anything when I did mix the soil, but I love their products. They're tried and true with me. I've probably used them for the last, God, if I said 18 years, I, so tested, good stuff. But
Ton, tons of questions if you want them. There's
oh, sure. Let's
corn
see, you got
syrup. What about? Well, you probably be better off just reading over there.
corn syrup. I don't know. That's Dolomite lime. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was in my mix. I don't know. I think I put my recipe up. If I didn't, I'll do that tomorrow for sure. Sugar and the good microbes still use it. Yeah, yeah. No, this
See,
is
there's
cool. Give me a second.
one
Bottom
about
feed
honey.
is what I do with flood and drain with cocoa. Yeah, I've grown in cocoa. I tell you, other than it leaches the calcium out, uh, so you add a little bit more. You find. No, I tell you, if you can nail a cocoa, that's good. I've done the expanded. What are they? The volcanic rock, whatever it is, the pebbles, the round things, the balls there. I've grown in volcanic rock. I like that. I tell you what, the roots really like to hook up in those little nooks and crannies. But I'm not a big ebb and flow, flood and drain. Every time I get around water, I fuck it up and everything floods. And it just seems like you're feeding it things that, I don't know. I'm a soil guy, man. I don't give a shit. I've been all my life. So I try new
So
things though.
you could always give us some tips on. I got a couple questions. It's outdoor season. Anybody, prepping their stuff for outdoors? You could throw us some bones there.
Well, I tell you right now, you should be hardening off already, you know, if you haven't. The sun's coming up really, really fast. Uh, it's been a weird spring. I got a question for everybody. If you haven't noticed, please try to keep an eye on this and get with me on this one later. I don't see no fucking bees. I see very few bees in our neighborhood, and I was curious to know if they came out. And we had a late freeze and snow, and I know north of us they've had a lot of snow. And so I'm just curious to know if we didn't lose a number of bees early on here. That frightens me. But outdoors, I tell you, gosh, I don't do outdoor here. I can't yet. Um, Probably next year, but this year here we're still working on. I tell you what I'm after. I'm after some testers. If any of you guys are, I know Canios. My gosh, I'd run any of your stuff again. That's for sure. Um, I'd like to get some of those. They got some of the sweet tea, and I'd like to get that going. I popped a few, and I had two males, and I never did go back to it, but I'd sure like to hit a couple of those. And got some pretty stuff on the in the bedroom. I haven't showed that for a while. Uh, got some Hawaiian Express. And what else? I got a watermelon gelato, which is going to be interesting. Beautiful structure. You know, that's what I look for myself. Um, and I'll be doing this a lot. Yak, 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 yak. So interrupt me at any time.
Oh
Go
no,
ahead, Tim.
this is where we are. We're long overwaited to hear this, brother. You know this, you coming back up and you getting your YouTube and everything going back. We're dying to start hitting your channel. So
Well,
I'm sure everybody that watches this will be subbing up. So feel free to drop that YouTube because they don't see it right now. You know what you can actually do is you can rename yourself in the chat there, and
oh,
you can put your YouTube channel right there so everybody knew. Is it just Father Mike?
well, this is the weirdest thing because I've actually got Father Mike 420 as a YouTube channel, okay? And I can post to that. But if you just type in Father Mike on YouTube, it takes you there. But what's confusing is I can still open up my old YouTube channel, Father Mike YouTube, but it won't let me post. It won't let me, it's kind of weird. So if you want to see me, I'm at, it's the Father Mike 420 YouTube channel. So I'll start posting and stuff again. Like I said, I just got this wonderful PC. Thank you, Ruby. I just need to, you know, spend a little more time with it. This build out's really taken a lot out of me. I'm a one-man show, so other than the times she comes out to give me a hand, pretty much built it from the ground up. I did have somebody else hang the drywall. Other than that, I've done all the duct, all the lights, all that stuff. But somebody mentioned the Florida deal. Uh, when I was down in Florida, believe it or not, we were in St. Augustine, and we built 400 homes in 1 year. They were all pre-sold in St. Augustine Shores. It set a record for the Mackey brothers, if you want to look them up. It was quite a gig, man. I tell you what, we could do a house a day basically, and some days we could do two, depending on, you know, they were all pre-designed, flipped them over, pre-sold. People would come down there from up north. They'd love St. Augustine, so they would go up north after they picked out their lot and house, sell their shit, pack it up, and by the time they got back, they could move right in. That's how fast we could put them a house up. There's a place just out of St. Augustine down the coast on 101 called Crescent Beach. And we were building condos there. And we were up 3.5 stories in the air, framing. And I looked out in the ocean. I could see this this object bobbing up and down, man. And I'm like, gosh, I don't know, man. I'm gonna keep an eye on this. So I watched it during lunch in the afternoon. About 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I see it start rolling up on the beach, and I walked over to a buddy of mine, Tommy, and I says, "Listen, dude, there's a bale of weed floating up on the beach. Watch." And they was all shrugging it off, blowing me off, and I told him, "Now you watch this time." And it rolled up on the beach. The tide was coming in, and these two guys walked down and ripped the fucking thing open, started stuffing their pockets with it. And I knew right then, I said, "This is weed. We got to go get this thing." So at 3:30, we jumped in Tommy's truck, headed right down there. And man, we threw this thing up in the back of his truck, and we were so flipped out, paranoid. Drove down the beach to the first exit, got off onto the highway, headed over to his house. It was so large, we literally had to cut it with a handsaw to get this thing split up. And we split it 3 ways. I don't know, weighed 43 pounds. But
Oh
they
yeah.
had ripped it open and it rolled back in the water. So like just a part of it was seaweed, as they call it. Once it gets wet, they call it seaweed. But oh yeah, I tell you what, it was like Christmas in the middle of summer. Had so much. It was seedy weed, but yeah, somebody threw it off their boat, probably getting chased. And yeah, what a time. Sure miss those guys, I tell you. We smoked a lot of weed down there in Florida. Grew some good weed, smoked some really good homegrown. The Peanut Brothers, yeah, those guys, they were really good at it. But we started our families, so we went back up to Ohio, you know, uh, wanted to be around, family, raise our kids, homeschool, all three of them. Plus, she ended up homeschooling a handful of her nieces and nephews. On top of that, uh, Ruby was a hell of a mom. I tell you, she's still one hell of a grandma. When the granddaughter comes over, it's just like,
Can let's hear about the story of meeting Miss Ruby. I'm sure we all get to we know the cannabis side, but I'm sure there's a few of us that like to hear the meeting of Miss Ruby.
I
That's
don't
kind of
know.
it's up to her, but
Well, I tell you, we're two young lovers with nothing better to do, and I don't know. It's kind of I don't know. I'd have to think about it. It was love at first sight, guarantee you. It's just kind of strange how it all happened. I left at one time, went like I said to college. I left and went to another state, process states. I was actually born in Tacoma. My sister, my dad bugged out of Tacoma when, let's see, my oldest sister had graduated Wilson High School in Tacoma. My next sister was in line, but she was about to get married to somebody my dad didn't approve of, so he bugged out. Went back to Ohio, which that's where they were actually from, my mom and dad. So it kind of made sense, but it didn't. And so that kind of truncated our family. But my sister being out there was good for me because I had a soft place to land before I went to school. So I stayed with them for a while, babysat my niece and nephew, which was kind of cool, Marty and Mary, and kind of got to hook up with some of my old buds and get high as hell, as always. And did the college thing, and I thought it would be safe to come back. And when I did, lo and behold, I don't know, we fell head over heels in love and got married. It was kind of got married by
oh,
the first female mayor of the city of Elyria, Ohio. So there's
that's
one
an
of them.
interesting still. You know, it isn't. You're not even that deep into it. It's already a good tale.
Well,
You
I don't
know,
want to
we've
get into a
got
bunch of.
the community's got much. You guys are like a a great couple in the cannabis community. You know what I mean? I personally missed the Wednesday morning show when you guys would come on and have coffee, and there's not a couple in cannabis like that you know what I mean, that is good loving and putting out a positive vibe. I mean, look around in the cannabis community. Is there anybody like yourselves? Not at the moment. And we need we need that loving positive vibe in there, so I don't want to
There
leave her
are.
out of this story because she's a big part of you as well. Not taking anything away from you, brother. You're an awesome man too, but
I'll
everybody
be quite
love for
honest
her
with
as
you,
well too.
Eagle. That I told her tonight, actually, as we went to the post box and out to grab some lunch, that truly I couldn't do what I do without her. I mean, and it goes way beyond the imagination. Uh, uh, Truly, I couldn't have this life that I have without my wife, and I can't convey that enough to her. And the time we spent on the wake and bake, I told you this earlier. When YouTube started kicking us off, Brown Guy and Dago and myself and uh, quite a few of the others got the boot. Uh, I understand a little bit better now why, and they kind of want us to play, but at the same time, uh, I tell you what, I know a lot of my IG posts and a lot of the people that subscribe to me over there don't make it or don't see my posts. And I'm sure of that because there's ways to check that. And I've done that. But it's what it is. I'm an old man and I don't give a shit anymore. I really don't. I just don't give a shit. They wouldn't want to drag me into court for anything, but I'm as legal as I can be. I'm under my count by 4 plants. I try to keep it that way because I never know when I need to take cuttings, you know, and viable plants here. So there's a whole different other story. As long as they're vegging, they're not viable, they say. We don't smoke the leaf anymore, although there are so many other great benefits. And I've said this so many times, cannabis is the pharmaceutical companies hate it because it's truly their basis of most all of their chemical compounds that they use. I worked for a company called Seba Corning Diagnostic Systems in Oberlin, Ohio. They made reagents for diagnostic machines for blood and urine. And I would imagine they're busy as, a one-legged man in a punt, pass, and kick contest right now with this crazy virus thing going on because that was right up their alley. Uh, we were some of the first laboratory to have the AIDS virus back in the day at Seba Corning. But working there, I realized that a lot of the compounds and a lot of the chemicals we use were sounding familiar because they were some of the same compounds that, well, we find in the cannabis plant today. So uh, they can't tell me there's not enough information. There's way the fuck more information than they need. We paid this man in Israel over $500,000 for 50 years to study the cannabis plant. He bails on us and goes to work for the pharmaceutical industry, and they come up with a artificial THC for epilepsy. Fucking dude. But yeah,
People
they
don't
don't want us to
respond
play.
too well to that though. They want the natural plant is the way to go. They don't like that what is the name of that shit? I forget. Uh,
Epinol or
there you go.
epilepsy,
Epidiol.
epidiol. Thank you. Yeah, Ruby's in here telling us, but I tell you, and then I want to take this moment to just shout out a couple people because you said there's not very many couples. Jinx and his beautiful wife, and I tell you, Kyle Cushman, if you can catch him once in a while, uh, Ed talks about his wife now and again, and the old timers, I see on my IG feed a lot of I don't want to call them young ladies, but mature women growing some fucking dank looking cannabis, man. And I tell you, uh, like the Dizzy Grower, she's beating it up really well. And Pedro, as I said
Eh,
earlier, I really feel
I'm
he's onto the medicine right there, myself.
definitely the cleanest part of the medicine too. And I've been trying to incorporate into my show, trying to get some women cannabis influencers, growers on the show, as many as I can. You know, I'm not trying to leave anybody out in this journey. Everybody deserves their due, that's for sure.
Cheers, Mr.
But
Greenspot. Mhm.
but like you said, you named out like a handful there. You know what I mean? You, and yourself being one of them. So you know what I mean. We still we would love for you to come back and resurface. I mean, you talk about like plant counts and whatever. Well, you don't necessarily need a plant. You just need a tray and a fat cannabis cigarette to and have your morning show and get back on with us and do the same thing we're doing right now. You know, get back to things. Everybody would love that. I mean, now's the perfect time. With everybody being locked in this house, everybody is dying for, you know, a good you know, I'm usually passing out at that time. And I'm sure these guys would love to just pop over and have a cup of coffee and a morning joint with you guys for sure. You know, you
That's
guys
like
were
junkyard.
absolutely loved in this community for sure, and
Well,
be
thank you.
missed. And I'm sure 100% everybody is super stoked. I know I've been talking the people I've been talking to behind the scenes about getting you on, and even on 420, I was getting as you were in chat. I was getting messages, DM. Is he coming on? Is he coming on? And I'm like, I hope so. I hope so. So, you know, if you know it or not, there's a calling here for you, you know, both as, you know, the morning show and a cup of coffee and just, you know, knowledge. You know, you don't need an army of plants to talk about the plant. You could have just one and still preach some lessons to the camera. You know what I'm saying? It's all the same if it's one or if it's 50. It's the same process and the same knowledge. And we would be honored to get anything we can get from you guys. That's for sure.
Well, I appreciate that. I know that, again, like I was saying with Ruby's profession, that'll slow down a little bit here coming up. And I've got some different irons in the fire, but I would really love to study the whole process of the freeze drying, the whole, the beautiful hashish they're making, and the crushing of it and the temperatures. And I just think that I have access to a lab now. A friend of ours works very closely with a dispensary. He actually has his card to work through the dispensary. And he has told me that he will take all of my product and have it tested for me. So I'm very excited about that. I don't know if you caught early on, I like to foliar feed. I use Alaskan fish formula. I'll cut it with water, and I'll run it through just a regular old hand sprayer. And the young girls, I feed the leaves, and they just seem to love it. Now, once I go into my cycle, I don't spray a thing on my plants. If I see something develop, I get rid of it immediately. I have beat myself. Like, I mean, our good friend Subby Cool went as far as get a tattoo of a gnat, you know, and he knew fire kills gnats. It's that fucking simple. You take it outside, and you burn it, and you don't have any more gnats, you know. But I got onto a few things, and it's kind of odd, not to run my mouth again, but have you ever heard of a UV ozone generator? Anybody? I've
I have.
clean my room with those between grows when I had issues in the past. I got a powder issue one time, and I thought, well, how the hell am I going to clean this? Did a little bit of research. Take everything out of the room. You stay out of the room. Any pets or anything like that, and you turn this thing on for about 20 minutes, and nothing's alive. And come to find out, they're going to look into it for this virus that's going around. And our daughter works in the healthcare industry, is why I'm bringing this up. And I was looking for it the other night. I was going to loan it to her to clean her masks and her gowns and stuff. She's one of the frontline workers in the older people's healthcare industry, I should say. And so they were running to masks and didn't have them. Ruby actually was sewing masks for a while, but yeah, UV ozone generator just took care of everything in the room. I've had gnat problems. I use dunks in my water container. I don't know if you guys do the float and dunk stuff or the pellets. I saw somebody post that today. Sticky traps, those are always good. Just kind of running some shit through my mind here, because it's bug season right now here.
Sulfur's big right now. A lot of
I
people
did
are
a
talking
sulfur
about
burn
sulfur.
once, and I don't know, the plant didn't taste good after that. Yeah. Ruby wants to know, do you guys want to do it? Sorry? What day of
They're
the week?
asking for it. They're
Okay,
already asking if you'll
was it
upload it.
what day of the week? Okay, Ruby wants to know what day of the week would you want the wake and bake to come back?
They're already asking in chat before you guys even said that. They were asking when you were gonna upload it. We'd love to see it. You know,
Okay.
it's already popping up in there. You know, I'm
Again,
telling you right now.
yeah.
And you know what I was thinking as you were telling me about this, Father. You'd like to learn about the pressing. What better place to be in than Father Mike wanting to do like a morning wake and bake? You could be pulling on, Pedro and discussing pressing right there and helping everybody else learn some stuff and getting other, doing it live and you learn, other people learn. You know what I'm saying? On a wake and bake. There you go, right there. There's a few weeks right there, just getting a few extractors on talking about what you wanted to learn anyway. You know what I
tell
mean?
you,
And we're learning too.
I would love to show the different materials I can pull out of that little source, that source turbo I got. A couple of years back, we gave one away down at Nug's house, actually, when I had the other YouTube channel up. There was a gentleman down in Tucson that had cancer, and so we were going to try to help him out to make RSO. Well, the more we played with this, and I don't know if you guys follow them, they're on Facebook. Um, Troy's the guy's name, but we have a group there, a community. It's Exact Craft user group. And if you look up Exact Craft user group, you'll see stuff that looks like shatter, stuff that I've made the shatter, I've made the butter, I've made RSO from reclaimed the pucks. Our friend that I was talking about that does the testing for me, he also presses nugs for the company he works for. And so he'll bring me a bag of those pucks and I'll soak them in alcohol, pure. I use a 190 grain Everclear, which is available here. Although I understand I can get a better grade alcohol finally shipped to me, which is they call it a medical grade. I don't know if you're familiar with that or not. It's a little bit more refined. I guess it's close to like 200 proof. But once you run alcohol through this machine, it basically removes any liquid, any water, and you end up with a distilled. I mean, it's got to be close to 200 proof. But yeah, you just it works under a vacuum. Are you familiar with the Source Turbo?
I am absolutely, but I wanted to just real quick pause your story real quick because every answer your question, yours and Mrs. Ruby's, they're saying every day, any day you can, whatever works for you, uh, every morning, yeah, any day.
There you go.
Any
There
day
you
of the
go,
week is
Mr.
fine with me.
Eight,
Yeah,
8 days of the
there's
week. Yeah.
yeah, right there. There you go.
Well, we're
But
all
yet, Or see, I was so stoked to have you agree to come on. I was actually, I feel like this is someone exclusive. I got the drop on everybody. You coming back, and I appreciate this 100%. I do. I have heard of the stores. I don't. I didn't mean to interrupt your story. I just wanted to kind of throw out your answers to your questions there. But
well, it's
I
good
have
because
heard of the stores.
I can see chat, but with the eyesight that I have, shit up close. If I have to take my glasses off and get real close, it's a pain in the ass. But thank you for everybody that answered the poll, and yeah, I would like to get back on it. I do my work in the morning when I can. I've got it down, pretty good system. Uh, we didn't get a chance to put up the larger building yet. We have a 30 by 50 building that we're going to eventually put up for flower, and then run separate rooms, divided into space so that we can run a continuous type of perpetual type of grow. But it just kind of ran into a wall and we got what we got. So after this harvest here, we're going to rethink some things. But I'm just tickled. I tell you, the source is going to get a workout this year yet with the first harvest. As I told you earlier, I'm blessed. Pedro's invited me up to his farm to take a class. What better way to learn? But I mean, truly, I've smoked a lot of dabs, believe me, from a lot of different of the local companies and such. A good friend of ours actually manufactures some pretty good stuff, but I've never seen any better nor smoked any better or cleaner than what Pedro produces, and he's just got it down to a science, man. He's a master at it for sure. I'm not saying nobody else can do it that well, but I see some beautiful, beautiful stuff. Uh, yeah, man.
Oh, absolutely. It was a pleasure having him on the other day. He telling us about the Rosin on 420. Man, I hope that episode makes it, man. Every day I check it like 3 times a day to see if that 420 episode's going to make light. Sometimes I want it to make light and sometimes I don't. There was much great content that came that day, but I was so like inebriated by the end of it. I mean, I had to have my guest practically propping me up to drag me through that last, I think, 3 hours of continuously smoking. I think I was up for like 36 hours continuously, but I was on the air smoking for 26 easy, between the Michigan Bros Grow Show and the marathon there for 24 hours. Uh, yeah, I just left from periodically to, I'd let the guests kind of talk for a second while I use the restroom and grab something to drink. And then I'd come back right in here and roll it up and go right back at it. So I look pretty tore up. I don't know if I ever want to see how bad it actually was.
Yeah. I see Kenny O's is still here, and I want to wish you both, the happiest of anniversaries. I don't know if anybody knows or not, but they were actually married on 420. They tripped out here. They stopped by our place. They went out, saw Soil King, up and saw Pedro and Dizzy. Probably hit a couple other places along the way, but while they're here and I'm live, I would like to share that with everybody. So when we celebrate, think about the Canios, man, and happy anniversary. I hope they have a long and prosperous. I know they will because they do what they love. They're gardeners. They have a garden center. They breed some of the best cannabis. I tell you, get on them. You may not be
Well,
familiar with them, but Yeah,
I
man.
just I'm glad they joined us tonight, and I hope everybody does check them out and look over their page and hopefully order some of their genetics. Uh, Moreover, I want to point out the fact that they share an anniversary with another cannabis community couple, and I call him a community cannabis badass, Jack Greenstock of the Cheap Homegrown Show, among other things he does. He's got a bunch of his own projects going and website as well. But him and his wife just recently got married on this past 420,
Oh,
and
cool.
how awesome is that? That's pretty dang cool, if you ask me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, last year Ruby and I
That's
were
it.
up at Pedro's and Dizzy's, if you remember, and got totally. I tell you what, it was one hell of a day. I know we were the last three standing at the end of the night. Uh, Everybody else had gone home, passed out, all that. Uh, you know, if a little dab will do you, just imagine what a lot of them will do. Yeah, gosh, oh goodness. Yeah, this year we actually had a friend come up from Texas. I don't know if you guys caught that photo or not on IG, but if you look, he goes by the name of Clovis the Cleaver. We know him as CJ Hancock, but he's actually a professional MMA wrestler, fighter. No holds bar, beat each other half to death in the ring kind of thing. Uh, was in a movie actually as a actor in a movie. But he's from up here and came up to pick up a brand new motorcycle from his brother and ride it back to Texas. But he stopped in for 420 weekend, so we didn't want to leave town. But CJ's like a son to us, so uh, when we knew he was coming up, we thought we'd hang out. But look him up. He's one. He's gonna be my bodyguard probably here in the next couple of years. Yeah.
So I'm thinking about opening up. I run, a few different 10 areas here, as you can see behind me. And I'm thinking about right now I'm in cocoa. And, this whole living soil, no-till thing's really picking my interest. So I'm thinking about starting, I'm not going to change everything at once. That would just be crazy stupid. You know what I mean? But I'm thinking about starting at least a 4x4 area of, living soil or no-till system. You got any pointers, or maybe like a good starting soil or something that you might point my way of, something like that?
I believe you're up in Michigan, correct?
Yes, sir.
Um, Gosh, I would check in, talk with Patrick over there in Cali, see if he's got a distributor. But again, he mixes like a super soil. His big roots is mended. I mean, you can go ahead and use that for a base soil, but really you're just wasting your time. Uh, Start, with the baby roots. But no, if I was going to jump into it, I would do the whole process. We considered when you use the baby roots, it's like buying a new pair of shoes for the gals, as you step into the big roots. But uh, probably talk to Grassroots Fabric Pots. They make a really nice tent application for a soil bed with a scrog setup. And goodness, mix. I like to mix my soil indoors. Try to avoid buggage. Again, it's really that time of the year here where I see a lot more bugs. It scares the hell out of me because when I go into the grow, I want to make sure my clothes are clean, my shoes are clean. Um, I was pretty anal there for a while. I was wearing booties and Tyvek suits and stuff. So I've gotten the gnats, but I'm a little more gentle. But yeah, no, I would speak with them, maybe get a bed. And Subby was introducing he had an amendment to recharge your soil. And I'm sure that Patrick can
Uh,
hook you up with that. It was a little bag. Basically, you could mix it back in after you harvest,
it
and it
was
would help.
available through Green Bicycles, correct?
It
Was
may
the
be.
sub producer, I
Kennyos
believe.
probably may have it at their garden center, or at least can get it. They're closer to you. They're up in Maine. But um, it's just, get you a nice worm thing. Talk to Jim and get you a bag of worms. Soil Browns Pro. There's, a lot of good microbes to get your soil really going. But I love soil. I don't know. I love the smell of it. I love the way it makes the plants taste. Not that you can't do good in, cocoa or, uh,
Well, I
so.
agree. I feel that it's just stupid to continue to dump cocoa out in my yard. I get a couple of good uses out of it before it powders up, but it just seems right to just keep building a good system. I just recently dove into the Teaming with Microbes book by Jeff Lowenfels,
Oh
and
yeah.
I'm actually on like my second round with it just to make sure it sits in real good, because I have uh, extended a reach out to get him on the show,
There
and
you go.
he said he'd be on, but I want to listen to that book and read it a few times. I want to know it up and down, forward and back before I get him on the other side of that screen, because I have too much respect for him to sit here and you know babble on like an idiot about the subject and have him kind of. So it's in the works, and I just but yeah, I'm jumping into the process, and why, like the leaves, I could be feeding these worms my cannabis leaves, and just building a great thing. But I don't want to jump in all at once. I'm a caregiver with a few 5 patients plus myself, so I can't risk. Actually, I did. And to be all honesty, I did try the super soil method for a while, and what happened was I got ahead of myself, and had like a hot crop, we'll call it. You know what I mean? And it spun out of control. And at that point, I was already behind, and I couldn't keep ahead. So I had to, like a good quarterback would, I had to come up with another play, and cocoa was what I knew. So I immediately canceled out the super soil and picked up and ran with the cocoa. But now I want to venture back off to what I know was right, basically.
Well, it's eh, super soil. I did a batch that was hot. I think what I did is I just put the girls in a little early. I should have let it settle longer. And yeah, caught them on fire, burn up a bunch of leaves before it finally calmed down. Got them back. You got to be patient, but soil, I tell you, it's forgiving. That's what I love about it. If you get a good mix, it's really forgiving. I mean, you can fuck up pretty bad and still save your plants. Where when you're growing in, like an ebb and flow, or a lot of water content, those Bambi buckets, stuff like that. Uh, Shit can go bad fast, and it's hard to save plants once they get poisoned up like that, toxed up really bad. Uh, Not that it can't be done, but I hate going sideways. You know what I mean? Uh, Backwards bad enough. I'll cut and run before I go backwards too far. But I hate trying to go sideways a lot of times. But yeah, I was going to bring up. I mentioned something to Kyle the other day on a post that. Uh, Even at my age, as long as I've been doing this, it's truly what you learn after you think you know it all. And whenever you can get into a situation like this. I wish I could read chat better because, like Kenny's here, uh, I was picking Subby's brain before he passed about his best methods of doing breeding. Because Junkyard and I actually had spoken to him about making a strain with his blessing. And he was explaining, I think I shared with you how we went down to Phoenix the one time and his son was with us. And I told him that, if you think you want to make money off of growing flower, you're out of your mind. You can't grow enough flower to make money. So if you're into it for that, get out right now. Uh, any good grower will tell you the money's with the beans, but you have to find the phenos and know how to make those phenos work together to produce those beans. And that's where I was picking his brains. I did something on 420 just because I had found some old pollen in the back of my refrigerator that I'd gotten from Junkyard. It's from they call it the original hash plant, or is what he calls it. And so I crossed the streams, but I did the old bag style where I just took one, shaft or one bud set and dumped pollen inside of a bud bag and shook it over. Uh, Thought it was probably the safest way. I didn't have a whole lot of pollen, so I tried to conserve that. But hopefully it takes. But really, truly, as he was explaining to me, the best way to do it is just like any human. I've said this a million times, and I hate to bore you, but we grow women, okay? And when I was in Jamaica, I learned about the moon cycle. And I talk about the moon cycle all the time. Uh, know where your moon is. It's the best time to crack seeds, to take cuttings, to harvest, to transplant, all that. And I
Can
learned
you
that
go
from
into that exactly why? Because we've had a guest on. It was a couple nights ago that was questioning what the method it was behind that. So could you go into exactly what the methodology is behind planting on the moons and whatnot?
I was skeptical at first, but living in Florida, it clicked with me when I went to Jamaica. They did everything down there with the moon cycle. Of course, in 9 Mile, there was electric lines ran through, and somebody like this gentleman I met who had the local grocery store, he had a little frigider box, so he climbed up shinnied up the electric pole and hooked some number 12 copper wire to it and ran it back into his place there, just tapped right in the electrical line so he could run his cooler so he could sell food. But anyways, think of it this way. Um, High tides and low tides. We know how the tides are. Um, the highest tides are when? Anybody care to guess?
Full moon, right?
Full moon. The worst time for a hurricane or a typhoon to come to shore is during a full moon because the gravitational pull from that full moon is much more powerful on the body of water. Your worst time or your highest tides, and you can check this to Google your search, are during your full moons, always. Well, with that in mind, the Jamaicans believed, and I truly do, I've done tests with this, your plant takes up more nutrients and liquids during a full moon than it does during no moon at all. When there is no moon, the best time is to work on the root system. Okay. So when there's no moon, think about working on the root system, introducing microbes to clean the roots, do my watering down in the root area. I'll feed the roots, kelp, things like that. I'll do a top dressing with kelp. But they'll store up that energy. And then when the plant's ready to drink again during the moon cycle, it'll pull up the nutrients that it needs. Something else that a plant does It sleeps about 4 hours a day when you're during the full cycle. It doesn't matter if the lights are on or off. When that plant's ready to sleep, it'll sleep. And during that time, it shifts, or what I says, it relieves itself. That's when it'll let go of all the bad shit that it doesn't need. Plants will eat themselves, as we all know. But the Jamaicans taught me about that. So I try to push my plants into the 12-12 about 3 days before a full moon cycle. I take cuttings about 3 days before no moon. I feel because the roots then, that's when that moon is really letting the bottom end of the plant do its thing. So I have pretty good results that way. And I've tried different methods. Um, Everything from just, you saw me build the cloner here just recently with one of the black boxes. I've got a 5-gallon a Homer bucket set up with the same type of device. And then I also use you'll love this one, a bubbler in a bucket that I drop solo cups in with holes in the bottom and soil. And I'll just stick a plant right down in that, a cutting right down into that, and let the oxygenated water get sucked up by the plant, and they root up really nice too that way. But yeah, the Jamaicans got me onto the moon cycle, and I kind of doubted it myself because of the whole fact of horticulturally speaking, it's probably not what somebody would tell you, but it made sense. And I tell you what, they grow the good herb down there. They're pretty good at it, truly. For the resources they have, they make some pretty good hash too. Yeah, man. That's where I got my name. Actually, it was in 9 Mile. I visited there a couple times before a family friend of ours in Oberlin. Um, Her parents owned a corporation in Amherst, Ohio, and they were quite wealthy. And she was a big Bob Marley fan, and she always wanted to go to Jamaica and summered there all the time. And she bought property there, which is hard to do. I mean, they just don't let anybody buy property in Jamaica, and they just don't let anybody live there. She actually had to get dual citizenship and everything, but she introduced me to the Marley family. Bob's mom, Mama B, lived right up the street from where she was building her home. Wicked, of course, he was a store owner there. We actually brought a Jamaican back to America with us. He had a girlfriend, an American girlfriend, and he got a visa to come to America. I've shown pictures of him, Devon Taylor, really cool guy. He came to America. What they loved about me, Father Mike smuggled weed to Jamaica. Can you believe that? I flew some of my homegrown marijuana, cannabis, to Jamaica, and they were so impressed. I took seeds too because that used to be the ritual. That's how they ended up with all the plants. Did you know that? All the different strains. The ship captains used to bring them seeds and trade it for rum. Yeah,
That's
pretty
pretty
good story.
crazy.
Yeah.
You know, just touching base here back a little bit about the breeding. If you've got some good questions that you would like to feed me about breeding, I have a couple of amazing breeders coming on the next few days. So if
Ah,
there's some questions that you would like answered, uh, Sunday will be Joel from North Star will be here,
oh,
and we both know that he's created just tons and tons of fire.
excuse
And
me a
then
moment.
how's Chad doing tonight? Smiley's Gardens, how you doing? Nature's Servant, how you doing? Nice to see you. Thanks. I'm glad to be back on there. Wow, Australia. That's pretty awesome. Glad that you guys are tuning in over there. And
I
Miss Green Pots, we just got a hello from Australia, Father.
groovy, groovy. Hey, you said North Star. I had to get my cane. Uh, I was gifted this at the Cannabis Cup. from them. It's one of their outside stocks. Uh, it's got the medical symbol on it. It's actually got crystals and seeds embedded all along the top here. Uh, we were walking, Ruby and I, in the midway, and this guy come up and says, "Hey, oh, dude, you look like you need this," and he handed me this right along the midway. So I've actually grown some of their gear. It's really good stuff. So very reputable. Um, Humboldt Seed Organization blessed me with a bunch of their beanage, and some of their people came and had worked locally here. And that's pretty cool. Now, I tell you, you mentioned them. I'd love to check that out Sunday, you said. So,
And Monday, I have Mr. Soul coming on from Brothers Grimm or Domination Seed Company, I guess it is now. But Brothers Grimm, Mr. Soul, we all know, you know. But
for
he'll be
sure.
on Monday, dropping tons of knowledge. So, if you got some good questions, I'd be happy to lay it on both of those guys for you and get you some answers exactly what you want to know there.
Well,
So
if I
that's
could back up uh, the whole Jamaican thing, the 28 days, we grow women, of course. Uh, and I said, what I did was some kind of foolish old school shit that I'd learned where you bag the bud so you didn't spread the pollen all over the room and yada, yada, yada. Well, the woman that I introduced that pollen to, the blue reefer, uh, she was actually 23 days, which is right in the window that you would normally want to fertilize or to pollinate. So I understand it's about 2 weeks, 21 days, or let's say, I'm sorry, 21 days, 3 weeks to somewhere in that area. But what somebody was telling me is that since we grow women, and this made so much sense to me, just like the whole full moon shit. Uh, he said the best thing to do is to grow the male, pick the male, make sure it's good. You know a good male. Kenny will testify to this. Just like your female, I always try to watch when I'm growing new females. I look for structure, how quickly it grows, how quickly it wants to mature, things like that. Root structure. I mean, there's so many different things you want to check, but he said the best thing to do is raise them together because they're going to have sex. And there's nothing better than having the two being alive together and feeling the groove and falling in love and doing the whole sex routine instead of taking a fucking, you know, brush and painting the shit on it. Actually let the two mature together and let them pollinate just naturally. And he said there's no better way. He said you're going to get the best beans, the best result. It's foolproof. And so I got a tent, and I pray real soon the junkyard and I can get together on something and collab. I just found out that the Mendo Dope Boys, they're going to do a cross in honor of Subcool. So I'm excited about that one. And they just dropped a hellacious good album. I don't know if you guys are into that kind of music, but check them out.
Oh, we all listen to Mendo Dope, so
Well, there
go
you
ahead and
go.
plug that
I
right
should have known
away.
better. Weed nerds, I bet, are all up in here. But
Father, I have been graced with a lot of weed nerds
good.
that has come flocking to this, because they recognize me from the weed nerd community, but they recognize me too as I was a good friend of Subs, and I don't know if you know this or not, but I was actually his Michigan rep here, holding it down here in Michigan for him. So I have much love. He was actually a real good friend, and a lot of them have came here and said, we love to support this just because we have that void. We all miss them, and
Yeah.
they're happy that I don't do it because of that, but they're happy I do because it helps fill that void. And that Well, that's big shoes to fill right there. That's a big
Can't be
honor
done,
that
I tell
anybody
you,
would
brother.
even try to even throw me into that arena. But it's been super huge. That I love the fact that they're gathering somewhere, because like any good family, when that hub goes, families splinter a little bit. And this has been a little bit of an open door to have some people. And I've seen a lot of names in this chat. you know this is episode 30. It's been a couple fails, so I've been into this like 33 days now. And when in that time, I've seen a lot of old names, old weed nerds. Cali Cannabis Culture was here the other night. I mean, he's one of the original weed nerds. I've been in contact with Dun Beetle and Malik, and Rascal Farmer. I've seen Galactic Gardens was in chat the other night. So it's been an honor to be a part of this. And it's awesome. But what I'm getting here to is, since we're both good friends of subs, we both have great memories. Do you have a certain, one that stands out, gives you that belly laugh, Subcool story? Do you have one of those you'd like to share with us?
Oh goodness. Probably the funniest thing was him taking that little sports car out. And I know he joked about one of the reasons he wanted to sell it was because there wasn't too many places in Arizona that he could drive 215 miles an hour. And people didn't understand him. But no, I tell you what really got me. Ruby and I went to the place there when he had gotten his swimming pool up and just banging, and to walk in and have him tell the story of why he drained the pool and why he was growing in the swimming pool. And that was going on just about the same time he was doing the bowling alley gig, which kind of they don't talk about too much anymore. But um, yeah, the whole pool episode, I think, sticks out in my mind. A lot of the stories, as I told you before we went on the air, I don't know. I'm going to put them under my hat for now uh, and set on them
There's
because
got to be a few that we all remember. You know what I mean? There's uh, so many great moments, on the air moments, because like you said, off the air moments were a total different sub. And I've spoken to this fact, and I'm glad you're here, because you sound like you're a pretty good friend of his as well, not just like a on the air type friend. You know what I'm saying? You sound like you've been there, and you know the real man. So there was quite the difference of behind the off the air sub and the on the air sub. So
well,
I can
most people,
understand you wanting to keep some of them stories under your hat, but
yeah,
I'm sure there's also great moments that we all remember too, that you could help remind us of.
I don't know. The last one that we spoke about was the fire. I know I just talked about my hat. We did the telethon for that. One of the very few that got their telethon, through and all. But uh, him telling the story of the fire and how close he came to death, even back then. I don't know if the people have heard the story of how as they drove away off the mountain, the flames were actually on the car window, slapping on the window. But he was frozen in the yard, and the dog saved his life basically from the flames. When he walked out the front door, he said it was just a wall of flames, and he froze right there. He couldn't move, and the dog come up and was barking and pushing him to go, go, go. And the whole time Joe was screaming at him, get in the car, get in the car, get in the car. They were gonna die right there. The flames were right in front of his face. He said it was like standing in hell. But as they left, he said the car was just engulfed in flames. How they made it off that hill alive, uh, he to this day. I figured that probably played big on his lungs. But I have to say, after the garden grow, I know Mendo just put up a photo of the swimming pool, but in my book, I would have to say, and I said this early on, what really took his life more than anything else was the Maricopa County Police Department, the Sheriff's Department, when they came to his home. Uh, did you hear the story about the knock on the door the morning they came? And met him at the door in his underwear. He said, "Man, there's nothing more defusing of a situation than to meet the police at the door in your underwear." Didn't have anything on but his boxer shorts. And, pretty much takes the gas out of that whole get on the floor, gonna beat your ass up kind of shit, They just stood there with their jaws on the floor looking at him. But yeah, I think the whole stress of that and all the other stuff that was weighing on him just probably did more to his health than anything else.
Oh, no doubt, sir. No doubt there.
I don't know. There was probably a story in there somewhere. Too many go through my mind at the same time, and a lot of them I can't tell because there's women in the audience, and he had a lot of those stories that he told me, but I can't repeat those.
Yeah, I got a few of those stories too. Yeah, I
He
did have a.
actually he actually came through here. He was familiar with Prescott and Prescott Valley. He did some air conditioning work here for a while. But I had met him in passing. Didn't really get to know him till about I don't know, what would you say, probably 5 years ago. We started a relationship to where we were chatting a little bit. But probably the last maybe year. I mean, after he moved to Phoenix, uh, I think I can't even remember the cup name down there that they do, Earl Cup. When we met up there, that was probably the pinnacle point. I tested for him for a little bit, but nothing really panned out. I wish I could have gotten some really good phenoms. That would have been fun.
I was his one of his alpha testers. I've ran. He always gave me the credit of running more strains of his than he actually ran of his, which was
I'm friends with
57.
Seattle Steve. You know Seattle Steve?
I do. I don't know him personally. I know of him, and he has been frequent in the chats of the show, and he's been a supporter since. So
Cool,
I do
cool.
know of him.
Yeah, I just have met up with him just as of late, gotten to, which is kind of neat because being from that area, I can kind of relate. And I'd surely love to take Ruby up there here. And I don't know if we'll make it this year, but you never know. I mean, it's hardly consane. It's not that far from here, actually. It's not like going across the country. And the view out here, the terrain to drive from here to Tacoma or Seattle, it's breathtaking. Truly is. I mean, it's hard not to like it. So
Sounds like
yeah.
beautiful country. Do you have any tips for? I know you said you don't you like to foliar feed there, but is there any tips for like maybe teas or anything you like to use during the flower period?
I do early worm casting teas. Do little bit of the molasses in that. I use sea kelp and worm castings. I get the sea kelp from down to earth, and you can get worm castings about anywhere, but I think I get mine from Build a Soil is who I get my worm castings from. And
I gotta. I was just admiring that nice cannabis cigarette there you got. You're a man after my own heart. You don't mess around. Mine don't look as fancy as yours does right now, but they look like they're of the same gauge. I didn't
probably,
mean to cut off the tease there, the tease story there. But what
oh
are
no,
you
that's
smoking on over there? I don't know if I asked you that.
this is Gorilla Glue, some of the strain that we grow. And it's one of Ruby's favorites. Why I've kept it. It's from Humboldt Seed Organization. I actually got when I got back from Oregon. I was all boo-hooey. We had popped most of my beans in the garage, and not a lot of them lived through it because there were just so many. But when I got back home, shortly afterwards, I got a box all beat to shit from Spain. And Dynafem Seed, they sent me a hoodie, a really nice hoodie. And Humboldt Seed sent me two nice shirts and their whole catalog of femitized seeds. And so I was like, I tell you, I was happy as all get out. I've actually shared some of the strains with Junkyard. He has some of the beans. But we got onto two. I grow their Bubba Kush, their original Bubba Kush, and their Gorilla Glue. And I found two really good phenos of the Gorilla Glue that just are phenomenal. I've grown a lot of cannabis, I hate to say, and a lot of it fails, but these are winners. I've kept them around now for probably 5 years, 6 years. I think that highly of them, and I still have cuts of them today. Question for me, Eagle Gardens. Oh, question for Father Mike. Oh.
That's funny.
But yeah, no,
Yeah,
I love those, and I'm onto a couple others that I'm really I got my eye on them because I wanted, like I say, I want to get into the bean side of things before too long. I have grandchildren, which the one granddaughter just takes to the plants like mud, and the other one's been out to the grow. She's still a little young, but she seemed intrigued. But the one granddaughter, she's what going to be 13, almost 13. So, but she's been around grow, uh, most
isn't
all of
it
her.
a wonderful world we live in that you won't have to hide it from the next generation? You know what I mean? You, as your kids get older and your grandkids get older, you'll be able to openly embrace the plant and partake, I'm sure, at some point with them later in life. Uh, isn't that a wonderful? Isn't that just in itself a wonderful time we're in right now?
Uh, I have to say that if you can imagine what I've seen and what I've lived through in the cannabis, people go to jail, lose everything, not get out of jail. I mean, 25 years to life, shit like that back in the day. Uh, I was really fortunate. Ohio had really good law. I got $100 fine when I got busted. It was a misdemeanor, thank God. Before then, it was felony. I mean, they hated it, but no, you're absolutely right to see this transition happen so quickly. I feel in the next 2 years, if not sooner, it looks like the feds want to play with the banks in the cannabis industry, which is really good for everybody. And I say, excuse me, fuck big pharma. They need to go on the wayside. They kill more people than shit they can imagine. Uh, but They don't cure anything. Can you think of anything that big pharma cures?
No, they call it everything they dish out usually causes your body more deficiencies than anything. And that's, I don't mean to go off on a little soapbox because you asked there, but I wish doctors, what needs to be happen more times than not when you go see a doctor, is they need to take a blood sampling and find out what your body is deficient of. Just like you would a plant. We're much similar. We grow and we're basically the same as a plant. So when we diagnose plants, we sure the fuck don't just like start throwing shit at it. We try to diagnose it first. And that's what I would hope a doctor would do for me rather than just start dishing me out shit that's going to make me more sick. I wish they would take my blood and go, oh, you're deficient on this vitamin, this vitamin. You need some more of that. Now, let's go home and try that. Eat some more of that and come back in about a week and a half and let's see how you feel after that before they're just like, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Because they're no more of a drug dealer than any cannabis dealer ever was because they make money off every piece of paper that goes out of there. So yeah, I can't think of one thing that the pharmaceutical really causes. They just, if anything, they're the true drug dealers because they're just creating more of an addiction for themselves. They've dealt out one pill, now you're deficient in another, so we'll deal you out another one.
We
Cha-ching,
got a pill
cha-ching,
for that.
cha-ching. Yeah, it's a nasty cycle, and the next thing you know, you're addicted to all this crap. And when you could have just been ingesting something Mother Earth had gave you from the God-given start. So I'm
There's
sorry,
a
Father. I
no
didn't mean to
good for
take off
you.
on that, but pharmaceutical drugs is a trigger for me. It's infected so many people close to me, and I'd just like to see the whole industry be gone. To be honest with you.
When I got my back done, I got on the opiates for a little while. But prior to that, and I got off of them, thank God. Uh, One thing about Ruby, even as young adults, we knew that what we put in our mouth played a big part on how we felt. And so she got involved in like the Oberlin co-op, food co-op, where we would order good food, organic foods. We had local farmers that we would get chicken, eggs from, and poultry. Uh, uh, we got into a meat service for a while, but we knew that it was very important. And then we got into the homeopathic medicines. We actually have a box full of homeopathic medicine in the closet, for bumps and bruises and headaches and all kinds of different things. And yeah, the pharmaceuticals, they're bad, okay? And uh, like you were saying, they mask your symptoms, and a lot of times they cause side effects to where they have to, give you something else. But I think that moment in my head when the doctor was sitting there listening to me, and at the whole time, from the time I started to tell him how I felt, he was already writing something on his script pad for me. And I said, nah. He gave it to me and I took it and I said, fuck this. I didn't take any more pills. And I don't even take aspirin. I can't even remember the last time I have taken any over the counter medication, aspirin, um, any type of cold medication, any of that shit. We do colloidal silver for any type of, if you're feeling off a little bit for infections and stuff. But no, you're so right on, man. It's usually something that you're not eating or you're eating too much of. Refined foods, refined sugars, soda. I can't remember the last time I had a carbonated beverage, and that's no shit. People don't understand what that does to their bodies. Uh, it's really not good for you. I probably drink too much coffee, but we drink organic coffee. We grind it fresh, and we use good water. But yeah, I'm probably weak there, and I'm drinking.
There's some good stuff in coffee, though. There's flavonoids in coffee that to help fight cancer. It's
Oh
known
yeah.
to have its pluses.
Yeah, it's not instant coffee and or anything like that. Like I say, it's we get it at Costco. You buy it a big bag of. We grind it fresh. It's beans, and they're nice and oily. And we tried quite a few before we settled on this one. I can sleep on it. I know that. So the caffeine level's not way high. Uh, I'm
Are you a
into.
French press drinker?
I'm sorry. What?
A French press? You drink a
Um,
fresh French coffee?
I haven't in a while, but I used to be in that. Ruby's got us onto some new kind of coffee fandangle thing she made the other day, and I think we're gonna have one of those this weekend. But it's kind of cool. But I like tea. I like to drink sun tea, no sugar. I drink warm tea with a little bit of raw sugar in it, but yeah, water, juice, orange juice or raw oranges, regular oranges, stuff like that. Uh, that's kind of crazy. But yeah, no, I don't want to say I'm a health nut, but uh, I know you are what you eat, and it's true, really.
Oh, personally, I traded the pop. I'm a coffee drinker, uh, almost from morning, noon to night. But occasionally, I did have a pop, and I went through a rough phase where I was trying to eliminate some of the coffee, and for some odd reason, I picked up them energy drinks, which
Mm.
thank you, Red Setter Farm, helped me knock that shit back out of my life. So, but I've traded the pops and the energy drink for kombucha a long time ago, and God, my body loves the kombucha, however you want to say it. Uh, if I don't get it in my system at least once a week, man, I'm just like, oh, you're missing something. You need your gut wants it. So,
Got some in the
as
refrigerator.
I'm, do you make your own?
No, she'd bought some a while back, and I drank a bottle of it. It's actually two servings in a bottle, and I had some just the other day, actually. Uh, it's really good. It like supercharges me, um, without a doubt. There you go.
That's my backup drink there. After I've had my coffee, is I'll switch over to the. This time it's the clear mind, but I also enjoy the love as well. I like it's an acquired taste, and I enjoy the journey of trying the many different brews of kombucha. I
Yeah.
actually had some father at one time at one of the cannabis cups here in Michigan, uh, some medicated kombucha that was
Ooh.
amazing. It was not just good, but it was good. And man, I've had every cup and event I go to since. That's like I spin around the edibles there. Now that's what I've got my eye out for right there. Is I really enjoy that because it's just such a great buzz, but but to be doing my gut some good as well. It's like a win-win there. So
Well, they
yeah.
say your gut and brain, man, it's a direct link. So keep your gut healthy. It's important for sure.
So not to neglect chat here, but when I threw out the questions there, that one of them was, what is your favorite subcool strain you like smoking? And you already covered the other one, how old, which was 13. But that was one. You could answer while I'm looking up the other ones.
Oh gosh. I don't know. Probably the last stuff we smoked was the tea. Uh, and I would really love to get, something going there. Um, my favorite, probably the Kobe, or I like jelly beans, good. Uh, I did Space Queen. That was really tasty. Uh, I don't know. I'd still like to pop a few and grow a few out. I think I'd do better at it. You know what I mean? Uh, but
I'm
yeah,
surprised we got actually a strain name out of you because you're kind of known for just the cannabis and it. What's your favorite strain? Just curious.
cannabis. But yeah, no, I mean, with him, yeah, he was into the dabs towards the end. I mean, he liked the flower. He actually smoked some of Junkyard's flower and actually commended him on how good it was. It was smooth. It didn't bother his lungs at all. But of course, he's an organic grower too. But yeah, the sweet tea was just tasty. I'd love to hit one of those. Uh, I don't know,
I'm
spaceman.
curious. I don't mean to cut you off, Father. I'm just curious because I know I've got some planting or some trimming to do. What's your favorite? How do you harvest your gals over there? What's your harvesting method over there?
Uh, in harvesting.
Yeah, do
You
you
mean how?
prefer just like a hang dry, pull the shade leaves off and just give her a hang, or are you a wet trimmer? Or...
Well, actually, here was my plan. Uh, uh, I have very limited space. We didn't get our building up, so I'm kind of, torn. I had thought this out. I have 6 vegging plants that I need to put into a tent. So I'm going to tent those gals, put them under a smaller light, and I'm going to take my bedroom and I'm going to turn it into my curing room. What I'll do then is I'll hang some scrog netting. I'll cut the gal's limbs and I'll pull the water leaves, the bigger leaves, which I left very few, but there are some on the plants. And then I usually see we don't have a whole lot of humidity here, okay, where we're at. So I'm going to try to get the humidity where I need it. I have ways to do that, but I'm also at the same time the room will be blacked out. There will be no light allowed in the room for the week. And I'm going to run an air conditioner as cold as I can get it and let it cure that way. I find that for here, probably um, one of the safest ways to do it, but at the same time, be able to control the amount of humidity yet temperature. Because we're getting now, like today, we were almost 80 degrees here already. And I don't know if you noticed the build or not. It's an envelope build, but it still wants to get warm in there with 2 air conditioners running and no lights on during the heat time of the day. So it'll be a blessing because I can push. What do I got? 6 plants to push into the bloom room, so that'll give me the space for the curing. But yeah, I like to keep the room as cold as I can, get the humidity uh, about 48 to 52, somewhere in there, and just let them sit in a dark room as cold as I can for about a week. Yeah, and then I'll trim them then and put them in jars. Got some big pickle jars to put them in there, the tall ones, and burp them for a while till they're
So
ready.
let me ask you this: are they just regular ball jars as far as you're like, or have you reclaimed some of them big 1 gallon pickle jars?
Yeah, they're one
Uh,
gallon pickle. Actually, they're like a gallon and maybe even a gallon and a half.
So let me here's something you that's a gem right there that you could pass on. I've heard multiple ways of getting it because that pickle smells out of that lid's a
Oh
bitch to
yeah,
get
no,
rid of. I've heard different ways of putting like mayonnaise in there, or not mayonnaise. God dang, Vaseline in there to draw that out of the cap. Is one way. But how is there a way you found to get that out of there so you can utilize the excellent jars there? Because I've tried it a few times. I'm like, man, such a big jar there. Just wash, 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 or
Yeah.
Google.
Google new lid.
Okay, okay, okay. That works. It's just so
Yeah.
hard to match up with the jar and the lid. That's
Right.
I can.
No, they're quite a common restaurant item. If you look in your restaurant industry, you'll find new lids for them. You can recycle them that way.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
yeah, yeah.
I've
But that's a
actually
good.
fucking back in the early days, man, of growing some cannabis and trying to cure and shit, man. I'm totally guilty of ruining a couple of good jars right there, trying to utilize an old pickle jar and shit. Be like, oh man, what
Yeah,
in the frick have I done, man? Because this stinks. You put that much work into it and then ruin it on like something silly like that. Back in the
yeah.
days, we've all done some crazy stuff back in the day.
Put it in the wrong jar or in the wrong container, or yeah, put it near something that has an off smell. Uh, have you ever had dryer sheet weed pass through your nose? You remember the days they used to try to cover the smell with the dryer sheet?
I
That
do, sir.
that was awful. But no, I mean, the biggest thing today is, and I'm glad you brought this up, is that my hats are off to these breeders that have brought us some of these terpenes to the table. Uh, I go to the grow now, and I tell Ruby, all the way home, all I can smell is the flowers that I've been working in the whole time, and I can't get it out of my clothes. But it's such a pleasant smell. If I could put that shit in a bottle. Here's something I wanted to do. All you folks out there, you want a really good hobby to jump into? Scratch and sniff terpene pads that match up with the strains, so that when you order a pack of beans, you can scratch the little thing and smell what it's going to smell like when it's done.
That'd be pretty cool if we could get breeders that would actually could nail down some packs. Anymore they're so quick to throw out a pack, and then you can pick out one of the 10 one of the 10 traits that you want, which that's kind of one of my sticks lately is I wish these breeders would tell us exactly what they're passing you. Is it the F1s and you're going to try to find one in 10? Is it are you passing me F2s or F3s? A lot of, they don't put that out there. They're just throwing out, here's your strain. They're not giving, back on it. I'm afraid there's a lot of guys out there just chucking pollen, if you will, out there. So I'm afraid those scratch and sniff packs might it might be more of a brochure that you'd have to. If this is the one you're looking for, and this one, it'd be like a Mr. Soul pack that would you'd have that one. You know what I'm saying? That was really reliable in my book. There's
Yeah.
uh
Hey, I'm a wishful optimistic, hopeful
it's
optimist.
Oh, it's a beautiful thought. I'd love to be able to do it. I just don't think the breeders on the other end are that
Yeah.
reliable yet. It's a great idea. The breeders have to catch up.
Well, there was a company, True Terpenes. They have a whole set of the terpenes that you can use, but I think they use other plant, uh, and they get similar effects. Like I said, the one I've got out here, this gorilla glue stuff is just I have never smelled anything like it or tasted anything like it. The head is so pleasant. Um, I don't know what to say about it. It's a good thinker's man's weed, you know. Somebody that really wants to think, you know, deep thought type of shit. And I'm not talking just stupid thought, you know. Uh, I design things. I like to design things. That's what I like to do. From grows to you name it, homes, whatever I could do. It's I see things in 3 dimension in my mind, and I can transfer it through the computer when I have the right gear. That's what I used to do. But
Is that something that you consider or do is like consulting?
well, I actually have a company, Tri City Consulting. I gave up a couple opportunities of late. I have a friend in Oklahoma that's setting up a lab as we speak. He bought a 189-acre farm with 3 greenhouses, and he wished me to come there and set them up. But kind of caught me at a bad time. And, it would have been one of those life changing move type of things for me for a while again. And I just went through one of those and is still trying to recoup from it. But there's
So
going to be a lot of
is
local opportunity coming up.
is that something that you'd be open to if somebody wanted to reach out to in your area there that was looking for some consulting? Are you open to that?
Oh, I try to do that as much as I can, but as I was saying, in the next few years, I see with the laws changing and stuff, there'll be a lot of opportunity for me to do that more. Uh, Something I like to touch on is that something I picked up from Subby was giving away beans all the time. Every time I saw Subby, he was giving somebody beans. If you watched him long enough, he would give 30, 40 packs of beans to people over the course of a day. It's just something he did, and it wasn't a big show for him. But here of late, when I got back home, I had this big bag of seeds that was kind of a mix of stuff. So I was doing the 5 for 5 for a while, hoping that that would catch on, but it didn't. I did do a while, and I had some people tell me they found some really nice genetics out of that. But uh, here of late, when I go out, I always try to take 5 packs of seeds with me and give them away to people. Like when I go to the dispensary, of course, I always take them down there and I give them to all the bud tenders. And they like slap too. That I found out. So if you guys are buying at clinics or the dispensaries, whatever they call them, and you got slap, the bud tenders love that. And
Isn't that some of the best gifts or best received gifts rather that you've ever given in your life is both seeds and or a little bit of flour unexpectedly to somebody that the look of gratitude when you slide them that handful or the bag that you give them. It's like, really? You're like, yeah, yeah, and they're like, oh my gosh. And the same thing with seeds. To somebody with a little bit of knowledge, they realize, hey, they can do a whole lot with this stuff. So
yeah, yeah. Well, again, I found out a few years ago that I have to do this. Um, I tried not to, but it just keeps coming back, and uh, I don't even think I'm there yet. I know some people they'd love to see me move up the next level, and I would too. But uh, it takes time and patience. People don't understand to grow really good genetics and flower and do it the right way. Patience, Um, ask people. Your forum here, I mean, my goodness, what a great place to hook up with people. I'd come in a couple of nights when I first saw you on YouTube before I had the Zoom set up, and I got into chat and all, and I saw that you had 3 or 4 different people on at the same time going, and I'm thinking, wow, well, I've heard of a couple of these folks before, and uh, it's really cool that we got a format we can share knowledge. Uh, that's what gets me, man. Because like I said earlier, it's what you learn after you think you know it all that really counts. Uh, Truly, I can't wait to learn from Pedro and from you and these guys coming on this weekend. I'll tune in. I want to know more about the proper way of doing things. I thought I had the guy, and then he had to turn around and eh, you know he pulled his number, but there ain't too many like him. He had a head full of knowledge, man. I tell you what, he probably forgot more shit than most of us will ever learn. So keep that in mind. But he had a lot of good people working for him, Badger, yourself, Steve, uh, some of them young guns, Malik back there, you talked about earlier. I see him. He's got some really nice gals growing.
Yeah, it's a cool community, and what I'd like to, you know, what I like to think I'm doing here with this in particular platform is, we've got great people in the community like yourself that I like to get on, and these are people like yourself is some of the big episodes that people are drawn to because we followed you through the years, and especially now. I'm sure this will be a good one because we're all curious on what you've been up to and how you are and all that good stuff. So I'm sure this one will be a well watched episode. But I like to think that there's so many great growers that as I'm come across my career here in the cannabis community that I've seen that need and are just for their dues. It's time for them to pop on here and start showing some tips. There's so many great growers out there that don't have a YouTube outlet or aren't is willing to step out in front of the camera or whatever that you know this is their open page right here if they want to come on. And it isn't always just the greats like yourself. There's nights where we have some amazing, I'm not going to say unknown growers because us in the community know them, but it's better to come on like yourself and let them see their faces and show strut their stuff. And it's about time. And I'm so happy that it isn't nothing that I'm doing. I'm so happy that there's been so many great people like yourselves and growers that have volunteered their awesome time. Time's an incredible thing. Money you can't put a dollar sign on it, and it gets more valuable as we get older. So it's hard to repay people for the minutes and seconds and hours that they give me, but it's people like yourself that make the show. I'm just a means. You know what I mean? It's the great people and growers that are coming on here that make the show worth watching, and I'm just proud to be a conduit, basically, of it all. I like to think I'm knowledgeable. I throw my tips out there when I can, but it's people like yourself that make this worth doing and watching 100%.
Well, that's very nice of you. I just, like I said, I just have to do it. Uh, Fail or whatever, grow a stud, whatever happens. It's just, I got to get my hands in the dirt. I got to smell that dirt every day, and I got to look at the girls every day. I don't take much time out of the garden. I mean, I see that you live there. It looks like and all. I loved it when we grew here or was able to grow here. They changed the law here in Arizona and took that right away from us when they did the dispensaries. So you either have to be outside of a 25-mile range, or you can do like we do, where you get somebody from outside the 25-mile range, and then they give you their ability to grow as a caregiver. And so you get their plant count, and they also give you than 12 yourself, because they don't want you mooching off of them, is what I say. But that's all about the change. And again, these young guns, man, I tell you what, they have a really damn good future, because uh, not everybody can do this. I found that out the hard way. Uh, Not everybody can do what some people can do when it comes to growing cannabis, because they're all different, you know. Like women, once again, we grow women. They're all different. Every single last one of them are different. Even twins are different. So, uh, you have to take that into consideration. So keep an open mind when you pop beans for the first time. You never know what's going to come out. Look at that one that we got from Kenny's, that Berry Light. Oh, that thing is just, like I said, I would love to take that outside, because I know that's a 25, 30-foot plant with cola buds bigger than my legs on it. It would just be a monster. But people like Mendo Dope, their growing ability and their music and all. Subby talked a lot about them the last few times we were down there, and excited about their future. And I'm excited to see the young guns come up. Uh, Hell, I've been in this for what, since I was a kid, and to watch people get their nose knocked in and their doors kicked in, and uh, it's just so good to see that there's so many people now. Like I said, the terpenes. If it wasn't for a lot of these young breeders and stuff, we had about 3 or 4 terpenes we were kind of stuck on. The cushes and stuff, and now we got shit that tastes like watermelon and ice cream, pineapples and lemons, and uh, some really danky stuff, that you can hardly even take, but you press it out and it's so delicious. And edibles, my goodness, man, brownies was the thing. And if you knew somebody knew how to make cookies and stuff, or butter really good, you had it made. But nowadays, holy crap! Like that source machine, I found a great tool there. Is to make my bakeries with it. I call it my bakies. I can make the extraction right down with the alcohol. Uh, there's very little, if any, alcohol left in the product when you're done, so you can add it right into cooking, and the heat just warms that stuff right back up. The butter just sucks it right up, and I've made some pretty powerful shit. Actually, she's not with us right now. She's in the kitchen. We had a friend of ours, Donut Mike. He owned the donut shop up the street. He used to come and buy weed from me all the time. He closed the donut shop, and I gave him some of my brownies one time. He went to work. He took one bite of one of my squares. He said he had to lay down on the bench for 4 hours. That afternoon, he brought the brownies back to me. One of them had a bite out of it, and the other one was still whole. He said he couldn't eat if they were too powerful. One bite put him out for 4 hours. Unbelievable. I ate the rest of them right in front of his face. Yeah.
I love them. And aren't the edibles now at the dispensaries or provisioning centers, if you will, just an insult really to everybody's wallet in my book. They're barely what you would even call an edible. They're more of a robbery than a medical benefit.
First time I had an edible, outside of anything that I had made myself, I was in Colorado. Ruby was taking a tax course, the 280 tax course. And while we were there in Denver, I stopped at a dispensary and bought 1,000 milligram, or I'm sorry, a 100 milligram chocolate bar. Actually, I bought 2 of them, and I ate a whole one myself. And I went for a walk, And buddy, I tell you what, just the best time I ever had. Everything was so clear, 100 milligrams. But like you said, now I think they have a limit here of 15 milligrams for their edibles. And I would get sick off of the sugar and the gelatin before I would get the medical effects I need. Truly.
I know here in Michigan, it's insane. You can't, you know, the amount of limit that you can buy of edibles versus the limit you can buy of extracts is like just crazy unbalanced there. I mean, you could knock yourself out with the amount of extracts you can buy, dabs, hash, all that stuff. But the amount of cookies and stuff that you can buy in one day is going to cost you a pretty penny. And good luck with that.
Yeah. That's sad. The dispensaries here, the law reads I can get 2.5 ounces every 14 days. And the week of 420, between Monday and Thursday, I'd reach my limit, 2.5 ounces. And so I can't
Yeah.
get any more at the dispensary for another week. Well, it'll be Thursday. I think I can get cannabis again at a dispensary, but it's a moot point, at this point. But it's just the law. But yet, in the same token, there was a gentleman. He was military. He was arrested for speeding, I believe it was. And he was found with a concentrate that he bought legally at a dispensary. He had a medical card, which made it legal, but the prosecutor tried to claim that it wasn't cannabis, it was tampered with. It had been, made stronger somehow. Uh, but it went all the way to the Supreme Court and they threw it out. But he was looking at 2.5 years and losing everything, literally. I mean, that's what happens in 2.5 years of your life. Uh, but because cooler minds prevailed, they realized that these extracts are, what they are. They're THC, they're medicine. And, but yeah, they still count it. Here, your problem is if you buy joints, that's where they get you because they get you by the gram. So, like if you get a couple pre rolls and a half an ounce or something like that, so you're cutting into your next ounce or half ounce or whatever. So it's really you got to keep track. So,
That's a
but
terrible way to go against your count too, because I just don't have faith in a lot of the packaging. So them pre rolls that you're taking away just because you're in a pinch are barely even worth bothering. But you had to get them because you're in a pinch. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It stinks that it really takes some good strikes off of your higher limit there.
yeah, and you don't know what you're getting. Like you say, a lot of times it could even be a little more shake than it is the little tiny buds or whatever they're using. But no, I mean the pricing's way out. The gouges here in Arizona, the number of dispensaries per capita. Uh, we have, let me think, in our area, one, two, three. We have three dispensaries within driving distance of where we're located, and I question most of their herb. Uh, we got 2 packets of Northern Lights. I spoke of it earlier. I've grown Northern Lights. Um, it wasn't Northern Lights. I guarantee you. You can put a name on anything, like you were saying. Uh, it's sad, but it's what it is. But I think the pricing's kind of a little bit high still. They need more competition. We could use 3 or 4 clinics here or dispensaries, but I think this year rec's going to go in November, and they're going to give us 3 plants, I believe, per person. So 6 per household, married couple or 6 in a household, if somebody was living together or whatever. So imagine that. I can live with that due to the fact that outdoors I could grow 3 outdoors and 3 indoor, you know?
God, you're
And
making me feel super blessed here in Michigan. Super blessed because the numbers here in Michigan are a lot different, Father.
yeah,
I get 12 per patient. I'm allowed myself plus 5 patients, up to 5 patients here in Michigan. And then we are also rec, which allows every household to have 12 on top of that.
wow.
Uh, so, and I as a medical grower, I can have my 12 rec, but they have to be separate from my medical grow. So I'm entitled to that on top of what I got. They just have to be in a different area of what this my patient's flower room.
I wonder who
So you
thought
need to
that
come.
one.
You need to come. You need to come to Michigan, Father. You need to come to Michigan. I think the weather would be all right for you, but I think you'd
Nah,
be
I
better
don't like
suited
that
here.
weather. I don't like it. It's the same
southern
here.
Southern Michigan. Southern Michigan's all
Oh,
right.
okay.
I'm in northern Michigan. I get snow. I get pelted with snow on
Yeah, we
the
lived
regular,
in
but
right
southern
on Lake
Michigan's good.
Erie, so I know what you're talking about. I had family in Michigan, in Flint, but yeah, we lived right up on the lake, so we got the lake snow and the rest. But it's the same here. I can have 5 patients, plus I get 12 myself. Now I don't have rec, but I don't have that many patients. I only have 2, and then my own. But because of space, I could fill my dance card. But because I live within the 25 miles, if you do, you can't grow. But these folks live outside, and so they asked me to do it. But again, that'll all change. I hope soon. Um, People need to just grow the fuck up. Uh, it's sad because, like I said, I get 2.5 ounces every 14 days, but yet at the same time, get this, I could leave my dispensary with my 2.5 ounces, drive right up the street to Walgreens, go in. They would help me load the alcohol in as many shopping carts as I wanted. They would help me take it out to the car. And oh, by the way, I could stop at the damn at the pharmacy on the way out the door and get my oxys with my script, and boom, bada bing, and I could do that a couple times a week, every day. I could take all the alcohol off the fucking shelf. Still not a death with cannabis, but I know this weekend there'll be a hell of a lot of people dying in car wrecks because of alcohol, and Oxycontins and both. I'm with Urban Farmer, you know? Don't drink and drive, smoke and fly, you know?
I'm one of those. Let's try to find silver lining in the cloud there. But on this COVID thing, it's what a great thing for the cannabis industry in general that they have been saying, put down the alcohol and start picking up the cannabis. It's about time. Yeah, jeez.
I spoke of the good doctor in Israel. I just read an article yesterday how that they are actually trying cannabis on the COVID virus as a way because it boosts not only your immune system, but it has yeah, I can't even say it. It's getting late and I'm high. Uh, Viral, antiviral properties. So they're looking into that, which wouldn't that be just about right? But I pray, I just pray people will wake up and just grow up and see the foolishness because again, there's no deaths related to alcohol or to cannabis that anybody can show me. Unless a 50-pound bale fell on your head, something like that. But I just don't know of anybody, nobody at all. Can you have an adverse reaction? Yeah, probably from buying dispensary weed that had Eagle 20 on it, or they grew it in fucking crap.
Man, I can't tell you how much I hate that reference.
We joke a lot about
Not,
this.
I know it's bad. I know it's bad. I just don't like the ego part of it myself. it it has to be associated, whatever. I know. Don't use Eagle 20 for
Well,
Jesus Lord. Don't use Eagle 20.
I'm sorry, I didn't think about it that way. I wasn't referring to you.
No worries, pal.
No, I told him over there on IG, come on over and soar with the eagle, man. Get high with the eagle. For
I
sure.
appreciate that. I appreciate that more than you know.
Well, I
Every
hope
little
these
bit
folks,
helps.
I hope they go over and sub up. I hope when I look on my IG later, I got a whole bunch of new friends. But I want to share your account with a few of the peeps I know and see if I can't get them to get off their lazy butts. They're late night owls and a lot of good growers and really good knowledge. The kind of stuff that I listen to. When they start sharing. So,
I'd take any good leads I can, and push anybody you can to this community as well.
oh
I
yeah.
can't. I am so looking forward to you and Miss Ruby's return. I can't personally think of a better time. We've had YouTube presence in the past, yourself, and even further back that have taught us. But what a great time. Like I said, we had a good footing of lessons back then, but we need a resurgence of people like yourself to why this door is slowly opening to fan this fire, and get more and more people producing their own cannabis and medicine, before they even try to kick that door shut on us. The more people that we can spread knowledge to and get those seeds started and gardens going, the better. So, and, people don't stay up that late and may not catch my show and all the stuff I'm trying to fan through. But there's a lot of people that get up bright and early in the morning that like to be fanned with some good knowledge. So I do hope that you guys, get that, fire that back up and get that going again, because I know a lot of people miss it. I remember Pedro. You mentioned one himself. Pedro himself was a regular on your Wednesday, so I don't think it'd be too hard to get him back and discuss a little rosin. That's going to be a problem at all. So
No, and
that's
like,
some.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, please. No,
Well,
please.
your show, the late night people, I know people overseas that get up when you're probably just in the middle of your show. They're getting out of bed and it's their wake and bake time that we talk to. But Uh, no, it's about time. I'll get a little bit more time to relax here soon, and I'm glad you had me on. I got my stuff going, and it was fun. I enjoyed it myself. You were talking about the giveaways and stuff. We just had them over on IG. I flipped over to 2,420 subs or people, that had got hooked up with me on IG, and uh, I threw extra packs of beans in for these folks just because I want everybody to overgrow. I mean, it's not that hard. Drop them at the public library, drop them at the fucking police station, at your car wash. At some of these vacant restaurants and stuff when you're out with a stroll. What's really neat here is because of this virus, uh, uh, our parks are being used more. Yeah, they're doing their social distancing and they've got some of the areas roped off and stuff. But gosh, when I go now in the morning, I just see 3, 4 times as many people as I have, and that's a good place to drop some beans along the road, at your public parks and stuff. But it's just something we got to do. We got to grow up. We got to take this. We got to take this one to the next level. And I got a question for y'all. And then I'm gonna have to bow out because it's late and I got to get up. I work 8 days a week, but
Oh, we're grateful for what you've given us, Father, but dish
uh,
out your question.
this is a fun question here. Uh, and some of you probably already have heard me say this, but does anybody really know the first person that tried to legal or make cannabis illegal, or cannabis product, I could say, but the cannabis plant illegal?
Is that worldwide or here in
No,
good old
I mean
USA?
worldwide. I mean, but it reference to make it illegal worldwide. Yeah. Well, that's pretty much what we did here in America. I mean, when they passed the laws, but there was a certain individual that I researched to because I wanted to know why, who, what, for, and it's really kind of goes into what's going on today, this very moment.
I don't want to ruin any answers, or I've got a good idea who you're talking about. But
Okay.
I think it also ties into the very reason why the word marijuana is also a bad word. Correct? We're getting. Is it a different person that I or a different time period that I'm thinking
Yeah,
of here?
yeah, I know what you're referring to because of the reference to the slang or the reference to the Mexicans. But no, actually, what I found out in my research over all this time, I wanted to know. But Napoleon Bonaparte, and it
Hmm.
ties right in with today. You know what today is, don't you?
Hmm.
It's
To
Ramadan.
hear.
It's the first day of
Oh,
Ramadan.
I can't believe I didn't know that.
So here we go.
Bonaparte.
Think about this. You have this you have this warmonger that goes over there that wants to kick these ragheads' butt, and there's no alcohol to drink because Muslims don't drink alcohol, not only during Ramadan but any other time. But you know what they do? They smoked hashish. And so Napoleon didn't like his soldiers smoking the hashish because, well, what do you think happened after they got a little hashish in them?
Nothing.
They didn't feel like kicking nobody's ass anymore like they used to when they was all fired up on the fire water. Yep. So he tried to make it illegal worldwide, any type of cannabis product. Yeah, the Mexicans is where the marijuana is not even a word. It's actually made up from Anslinger and them. They wanted to make it sound Mexican so that it was easier because everybody hated Mexicans for some reason. I love them, man. They're some of the greatest people in the world. I tell you what. Uh, they're not all good, but neither are all Caucasians or blacks. So you can find just about any race that'll have bad in it, but the majority of them, I tell you what.
Me myself, I'm trying to get away from using the word myself. Just use cannabis. That's what we should
Cannabis.
be saying. Yeah,
I go
just
with weed
cannabis.
and pot on occasion, but cannabis has always been my favorite. But here's a funny story for you. I talked about 9 Mile up in Jamaica. Picture this white guy in 9 Mile in Jamaica. Do you know, are you familiar with what a round robin is? In Jamaica, they refer to these round robins. I didn't know what it was either, but Come to find out, it's like a little mini music festival where they'll set up just an enormous stereo system, way too big than what they need, and they'll play reggae music, and it's like a competition to see who's got the best reggae music set up and who plays the best tunes. But here we are at a round robin. It's about 2 a.m. We're all smoking reefers and having a great time. And Fadah Mike has this moment. And I was still Mike back then. I have this moment where I look around and I'm the only white guy in about 600 Jamaicans. And if you've ever seen how dark skinned a Jamaican gets in the summertime, uh, it was a very humbling moment in my life, you know. But we're from Oberlin, Ohio, which was the first city to allow African Americans or blacks to college. The Underground Railroad went through Oberlin, and so did the Ku Klux Klan just down the road. But I was exposed to this as a very young person, and my dad was very racist. So he hated that I had uh, African or black friends growing up. In fact, one of my best friends, Billy Williams, I used to cop weed off of him. Great friend, you know, very close. But yeah, very humbling moment when you're the only white guy in a group that large of Jamaican. I was told later, you know, from Wicked, he says, you know, Mike, you were a lucky man to walk home that night drinking Red Stripe with the Jamaicans back then. Oh, yeah. Great people, I tell you what. They do anything for you, share their knowledge. Sent me home with a belly full of hashish. Uh, yeah, Wicked stayed up all night. He wrapped up footballs. They're about the size of your thumb. Gives you a bottle of water and a great big bowl of hash. And you sit there and just fill your belly full of hash and fly home and do your thing the next morning. Then unwrap everything and oh yeah,
Well
get
worth
high.
it.
Oh fuck yeah, I do it in a moment. In a moment again. Yeah. Some of the best hash I've had in the world. Uh truly. But good memories. Sure glad you set me down and had to think about it because I miss you guys. I really do. I miss coming on, and I know Ruby does. I know, like I say, it's a timing thing. You know that. But yeah, getting kicked in the nuts there by YouTube, that made me think things out. I realize now what I did wrong, and you know, I won't do that again. But I know how to bring people on, share their information, and not make it sound like it's some kind of fucking infomercial, you know? Uh, that's what they don't like. So,
Right.
yeah, sub up over there. We'll see what we can do. I like this little laptop gig. Thank you for having me hook up with Zoom because I wasn't sure at first.
Too easy. I'm so glad that you were able to come, and you have an open invitation. Anytime you're in chat and you're bored, you're more than welcome to pop in and say hello, or whatever you'd like to do. I appreciate your time and Miss Ruby's time. I know I've stole some time from her, so I appreciate her as well. And I do as many. I've watched chat all night long, and the positive things about your return and possible return, and it is more than positive. I know we're looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it, and I know everybody else will tune in. So now you speak about the time. The time is right. Everybody's locked in and dying to hear from you. So what I couldn't think of a better time than to crack that door back open than now, Father. So, and as you get busier and everybody's calling for Father, I hope you remember Eagle and stop back in and say hello again. One other thing I've got I would like to ask you. I ask this of all my guests on the end before they leave, because hopefully I hope to do enough of these to where I could do like an anniversary. I'm quickly getting there, you know, where I could do like a 50 or 100. But I'd like to put together all these little sound bites of like great folks like yourself that had said where they were tonight and exactly what you're doing. And just that usually because I've seen some awesome reactions on this question, you know, as to like, you know, what they're actually doing and stuff like that. And you put in already a good amount of time. So I'm going to cut to the chase here. What I want you to say is exactly who you are and what show, hopefully with the swear word in it. If not, I can respect that. Give me my soundbite for the, give me my soundbite would be I'd be honored.
Well, let me add one more thing. For all you folks in chat and yourself, I don't know if you know or not, but the Mendo Dopes, I don't know if you saw the toilet paper kick around thing, but they're doing the joint pass where you're supposed to reach in off the picture, take and hit the joint, and then pass it back off the picture. And you send them that little clip on your phone. You can do it on your phone, set it up. You know how to do that. Please do that because they want to put this all together and you can be part of their video. So you just, whatever you're smoking, a blunt, they don't give a shit. Do it. Go look at it on their IG account. They got a little video about it. But there you go. So I am with Eagle Garden. I'm sorry. Cut. Take two. My name's Fadah Mike. I'm a cannabis grower. And I'm here tonight with Eagle Garden on his show, Talking Fucking Shit with Eagle Gardens. Huh? And you tune in because this is show, I do believe, 30.
Yes.
Show 30.
Show 30.
And I'm very honored to be here as his 30th show and here with these great people in chat. God bless you all. And growing, please grow, overgrow the earth, and join us because when we do harvest this Subcool Victory Garden, we are going to have a party that you will not forget. And I'm going to talk Ruby into getting back on the air. Thank you, Eagle, for having me, and God bless everybody. Stay safe, warm.
Pass me that joint, Father.
Yeah, I'm almost out. I got to go in. I'm going to show people how I roll these. I'm going to show people how I roll these. There you go, bro. Yeah. So you guys do those videos too, man. I'd love to see some of you on Mendo Dope's video. He's going to put one together. It's on the Ash It Before You Pass It.
We just
video.
did, Father. All I got to do is crop it out and put it up there.
Cool, bro. Love you guys. Thanks again. I'm out.
Thank you, Father. Have a great night. I hope to hear from you soon.
Thanks, chat.
Mr. Father Mike, how awesome was that? It was worth a little bit of trouble in the beginning. Worth every second. I hope you guys enjoyed that very much. Oh, what a great night. Sure does make up for the few downfalls this week. But you guys know me. I wasn't going to give up that easy. You didn't think I was going to give up on you guys that easy, did you? Hell no. We still got all kinds of great stuff coming your way. Of course, Black Sail Lights, LED lights will be here tomorrow. Joel from North Star will be here Sunday night, talking his genetics and some breeding. Of course, Mr. Soul, Brothers Grimm, Domination Seed Company will be here Monday, and TC Turks, Michigan grower here, will be here Tuesday, and Tribal Gardens are all lined up for the next few nights of fucking talking shit with Eagle. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's show. You know, I have much love for everybody that tunes in night after night. You know, what's to say? You know, you guys are, in my eyes, the stars of everything I do here. It's 100% for you. That was why I didn't, you know, that's why I didn't show up last night. I showed up, but you know, when I show up for you guys, I want to try to bring you the best, and it's because I think you guys are the best. And you know, I hope you have a great Saturday. Of course, I'll be back tomorrow with Black Sail Lights, Black Sail LED. Uh, it's pushing 3 o'clock now. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to call this a night. But everybody that's always welcome. Tomorrow, I hope to have an extra late sesh to kind of make up for some of the good times that we've lost tonight. So tomorrow we'll have Black Sail, and then whoever wants to jump in, any of the regulars from our little community here, or anybody from the Michigan Bros Grow Show, if they'd like to jump in tomorrow and talk with me and have a sesh, that would be super awesome. Again, let's just do it. You know, you guys, you know, most show gives the credits of the, you know, the stars of the show, and I guess every night when I do this, I'm giving, you know, the credits of the stars of the show, and that's you guys. So good night, Nature Servant, Humble Gardens 420, Mr. Green Pots, Green Nugs 420, Cyril Howe, Stephen Everett, Dr. Dankstein, Smoke and Grow Frazier, Hating Life 420, or Blind Cat 420, Chanel Simpson. Uh, let's see here, scroll back. I Grew Some. Thank you for tuning in. Mr. Green Pots, if I haven't already said it. The regulars, John Boy, uh, thank you for tuning in. Red Setter Farms and everybody at the Michigan Bros Grow Show. I've seen Abolish Farms, Skillbow, Spartan Grown. I hope I didn't miss anybody there. Make sure and jump over there and check out their content. Mr. Jack Greenstock, my cannabis badass. You know, I've been so blessed to have him come into my life and offer me tons of advice the last year. Chris Mertz, please take me up on that episode. I've reached out and gave you a couple of dates. Hopefully, you have gotten back with me so we can make that happen, because I can tell you're ready to dump some knowledge here. Aldridge 25, Mr. Head Gardens. Thank you for tuning in. That seems like it's a new name as well. Man, there's just so many cool people that are tuning in. This is getting harder and harder. Resurrection Prophet to do every night. Kinko's Genetics, thank you for tuning in tonight. I hope you enjoyed the show as well. So many great farms. Boom Farms. I enjoy you popping in as well. Smiley's Gardens, the Ideal Man. You know, he's been a great meet as well. You know, he's been an asset. He's been an asset. I have much love for Smiley's Gardens. And everybody else, Charlie's Farm 420. I haven't seen you tonight, but I know you'll be popping in to check things out at some point. UKSIF 420. There's so many great people. Nations Creations, a local grower. He will be on here. I think 5-2 is his night. Man, I hope I didn't miss anybody. If I did, I'm so sorry. My daughter Lexi, I love you for tuning in. So many great people. If I missed it, somebody tonight, you deserve your due. I'm sorry. You're thank you for tuning in. But I will be back same Eagle time tomorrow. But 11:30 every night Eastern time, and thank you again. Do something nice for somebody, and random acts of kindness do change lives. what's to say there? It can. It's the simplest things. It don't have to be a huge, wow event. Just something stupid as far as opening a door for somebody that didn't expect it, helping carry something. You don't have to reach in your wallet. Just show somebody you care. Everybody have a great night. Good night.